Why did YouTube change to this Creator Studio? Let me see if I can go to the Creator Studio. Why does it go? I want the original. I don't want this new one. Nope. That's not what I want. Oh, looks like it's working. I guess it's working. All right. Okay. Well, that worked out pretty good.
I let you make a sucky sucky.
and gentlemen, I hope everybody can hear me. I don't know what. I had everything working so great today. I don't know what happened. What?
I still hear music.
Where do you hear music from? If I can't hear
I hear music.
There's no music playing on my side. I really don't know where you're hearing music from.
Yeah, there's still music playing.
Where? Not on the stream.
Well, I hear music. I can barely hear you. I hear music.
Oh, you're hearing that. That's why. Okay. The stream doesn't hear it. Trust me. Okay. Now you shouldn't hear anything. You hear anything now?
I don't hear the music
anymore.
Okay,
good. All right, so everything should be working now. I think Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope all is working. Just want to get a quick confirmation from our intern, 𝗃𝗪𝗏 that everything is working. But
our intern.
It seems like YouTube is working well. It seems like Facebook is working well, and it seems like Periscope is working well. Good. Everything seems to be working. Phil's volume is a little bit low. I can fix that. He's going back to that other microphone, so we had to make some changes on that. But anyway, good evening. Welcome to another Smoker Show. How you doing, Phil?
I'm terrific, Dimitri. How are you doing today?
Yeah, well, I'm okay considering the circumstances of the coronas and all that. But I'm hanging in there. I mean, people got to understand stuff that is beyond our control. There's nothing that we can do about it. So we just try to survive this and be stronger. And eventually it's going to go away and we're going to go back to normal. That's all it is, right?
It's a moment in time that we're going to look back at and say, wow, that really sucked, and I watched the president's update tonight, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a pretty thing, in the next 2 weeks. But hopefully we can get over the hump and we can get back to normal here soon enough.
Yeah.
Mowgli he's waiting for Philly Mays.
Yeah. That would be fun. I mean, you got time now. You should shoot some of those older videos. In fact, we were talking about this when we did the live this afternoon. We went back and saw some older videos and stuff like that. And part of the bromance, I guess, back between 2012-ish to 2015 was part of us busting each other's balls through videos. So we should go back to doing some of that. I mean, we got nothing but time to do that now, really.
I know. Yeah, it's just I've just been in such a foul mood lately with like everything that's going on. I think that's definitely part of my problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry that you're having a bad time. It's just but again, like I said, we still have to live. We still have to live our lives, and we still have to do what we need to do to survive, and that's just the way it's going to be.
Why is my head so much bigger than yours?
Yeah, and it wasn't before, was it?
Can you zoom me out? No, it looks like I'm more zoomed in now.
Yeah, I don't know why that's doing it, but I can't fix it now. I'll have to fix it in a second.
I mean, like my head literally takes up the entire fucking screen. It's massive.
Look at that. All right. Look how good I can make you look. Look at that. Is that okay?
I think that's better.
Is that okay? Okay, I can work on the other shots. I'll just leave that up.
I feel bad for you because you don't have as big a window as I do.
Listen, buddy, we know who the star of this show is.
Okay, please.
And it ends in Ardo.
You're definitely the star. What? What'd you say?
We know who the star of the show is, and it ends in Ardo. As in Busardo. Anyway, all right.
This show is going to be all you. I mean, you did a lot of the research for this show. You put together a lot of stuff. You showed me a lot of stuff before we started the show. So props to you. You did a very, very fine job.
Thank you. We work good as a team. Before we get started, just a few things. The telephone lines are open. I promise you, 215-383-5752. If you have any questions or comments during the broadcast tonight, we would rather you wait till the second part of the show to call in, simply because we have a lot of stuff to cover and we don't want to kind of, interrupt that. If you are the person that received the kits from Phil last week, if you want to call in later on as well too and give us a little update how that's going, that would be great as well too. So other than that, we're ready to get started. What we thought about doing is there is a coronavirus quarantine, stay at home, shelter, whatever you want to call it, martial law, the end of the world, going on right now. And in some states more so than others, right?
Yeah.
So we figured it would be a good opportunity for the Smoker Show to go back to some of the basics of the early days of vaping and how we can translate it in the 2020 world. And Phil, talk a little bit about the struggle and how different things were from a shopping and an initiation experience of a smoker to a vapor, let's say between 2010 and 2012, 2013, when the shops stopped popping up, to where we are now.
This is prior to the shops popping up you're talking about?
Correct.
I mean, really, that's what it was. I think there was a really big challenge. It was one of the reasons why I started my review channel and why I do the reviews the way I do, right? I started doing the reviews back before you can go into a shop and you could hold and feel and touch and use a product. You couldn't experience it by going into a shop, so you had to like depend on the reviews and the reviewer to give you good information on as to where you spend your money. I can remember when I started this, even back before I was doing reviews, I would do email messages to a bunch of people that I had in a distribution list that I knew vape. And like when I got a product and when I tried a product and when I thought it was something that was good or something that they should be aware of, I would go ahead and put an email together and send it out to the distribution list. I was also doing written reviews on ECF, the Electronic Cigarette Forum, back then too. So a lot of the information that you got back then was really online. It was all online. The research, the YouTube reviews. Then we started to have shows. That were I think the shows back then were just so much better, so much more fun, so much more.
You're talking about expos, correct? Like
expos,
like conventions, if you want to call them that.
About like VaporCon, Vape Bash, some of those events, just like a real community experience that we don't get. I don't think so from the shows anymore today. But really, I think that's where vaping started. It started as a grassroots online movement, and maybe that's where it's going to go back to. I don't know. But it's certainly where you can get a lot of your information today.
Yeah. And thankfully, I think I fixed the crop in your shots. The times were different back then, but that did not deter this industry being built on those early years. And if you think about it, the birth of vaping and the community and shops themselves, because shops were opened by vapors that quit.
Dimitri, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but are we live on YouTube or not?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Stream health is green. And I see comments on YouTube. You're not going to see comments on Restream. I had to do a backdoor on it, but it's working.
No, I have I'm looking at the YouTube link that you gave me, and I don't see it. All I see is the flyer, and I just see Larry says, "Looks like they are in a new channel. This one is dead."
I got 115 people right now on YouTube. Maybe it started in a different channel. No, it should be under the stream. Output. Smoker Show Season 2, Episode 14. Oh, the link changed when the show started. That's Bill saying. But anyway, we're live on YouTube. There's 115 people on there. So what you can do is just go on your YouTube and delete maybe that other link. You can do that right now.
All right, let me go and do that.
But we're definitely live on there.
Okay.
And on Facebook and on Periscope. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, yeah. All right, it did create a new link.
Okay, so just delete that one.
Let me delete this one. The upcoming one I'm deleting now. Delete forever. That's always so scary. Delete forever.
I will never delete you forever, Phil.
I would never delete you forever.
Maybe temporarily, though, a few times.
Yeah. Maybe for a week or two. Right?
Control delete for a little bit.
So it says, all right, it says it has deleted. I'm going to close this chat, and I'm going to go to this chat here.
Okay.
All right.
And we got Bill that's monitoring the chat. If we got any questions, he'll pass them on to me to make sure that we answer all the questions that come in today. But nonetheless, back to what we were saying is that this industry, even we didn't have brick and mortar shops at the time, was built from the community itself. Whether that was YouTube, whether that was Facebook, whether that was the forums, the people that opened these businesses that now has sprung into this big multi-billion-dollar industry, for the most part, and I'm going to say probably over 80% of the industry currently, are actually vapors. are actually smokers that quit smoking with vaping and then saw a business opportunity or had a talent, started making liquid, or saw the opportunity to open up a brick and mortar shop in their area to help other smokers quit smoking. And then, some of them evolved to have, 50 shops. Some of them are still with 1 or 2 shops. Some of them have closed, unfortunately. That's just, in any kind of business, that's you're going to run into that stuff. But it's very, very important to understand that just because the brick and mortar right now is under some restrictions because of the quarantine, that doesn't necessarily mean that we can stop the goal of trying to spread tobacco harm reduction, and meaning trying to help other people, get it be family, get it be your immediate friends, get it be some stranger that asked about you about vaping on the internet. I think it's even more so important right now with this virus that's going on, and a lot of people are staying indoors and they can't go out. I think it's even more important and more of an opportunity for smokers to try vaping, just simply from the fact that you can tell them, hey, listen, you don't have to go outside and smoke and catch the coronavirus. You can stay in your house. Again, I know I'm a little bit far-fetched, and I hope you understand the funny part about that.
But I agree with that, right? I mean, what would happen if I were to sit in this tiny little room and smoke a pack of cigarettes, right?
Oh, it'd be awful.
It would stink, right? The room would stink. My clothes would stink. I would stink. The walls would yellow, right? I could remember. This is going back a long time ago when I started in the speech recognition world as an engineer. The company's name was CCI, Computer Consoles Incorporated, and I stayed with that company until it changed. But I remember back when you could smoke in the offices, right?
Yeah.
And back when there was no such thing as flat screen monitors. They were the big tube machines.
Yeah.
And they were all white, but none of them were white. They were all yellow.
Yeah.
They were all like that brownish yellow, and that was from the cigarettes.
Yeah.
Right. So, you might get a little bit of VG, film here and there, but it's nothing like, what you get from smoking. And contrary to some of the stuff that you may read, there's no issues from secondhand exposure.
Man, right? I tell you what, before Maria was born, she'll be 17 in November. That's scary. Before Maria was born, we lived at the other house with my wife, and I had an office inside there. We had 3 bedrooms, but it was just the 2 of us. So we converted one of the bedrooms into office, and we both smoked. Before Maria was born, 4 or 5 months before Maria was born, I was going to take this office and transform it into a nursery. So I got in, I took everything out, scrubbed down the walls, primed them to paint it and all that. And I remember lifting up my keyboard, Phil, and there was yellow film on the keys of the keyboard. That was one of the first times, actually, that I seriously considered quitting smoking. I actually remember vividly the conversation. Well, obviously my daughter was coming. Maria, Connie was not smoking. She quit as soon as she found out. She quit for 9 months, which is I find that, by the way, by itself, I find that unbelievable. Like, a woman can quit for 9 months and then pick up just like where she left.
Just like where you left off.
The
right.
power of cigarettes is unbelievable. But yeah, this is a great opportunity for us to spread the love. And in turn, also support small businesses and support businesses through online or buying online or even curb service, as some of them are offering in various vape shops right now, call ahead orders and stuff like that. But there are areas where vape shops have been closed completely. Yeah. And the order has come in for the vape shops to close completely, meaning they can't even do curbside service. And a lot of the smaller mom and pop shops are not prepared or don't have the means to run an online store. And when people get online, another thing that you have to understand is that when people get online, you tend to find things a little bit cheaper. Okay, that makes sense, right, Phil? They don't have the overhead cost of a brick and mortar store.
They don't have the overhead cost. They're buying in bulk, right? So yeah, of course.
But I also want to tell you that no matter what you're going to see here today, supporting your local store is extremely important when things get back to normal, because you're going to get something at the brick and mortar store that you're not going to be able to get anywhere. And that is one-on-one customer service and support. And I think that that's really, really important. I want to mention this. I mentioned it in the live this afternoon, but I know there's more vape shop owners actually that watch this show, believe it or not, than what the live that we did today. I had an idea that I brought up, and if you're listening right now, if you have a vape shop and you can't do face-to-face sales, which you shouldn't at this point anyway, and you've laid off some of your employees, Get one of your employees or multiple employees and assign them on shifts and have them do video customer service. Open up a Zoom room where this employee sits for 5-6 hours. Pass a card on to your customer. Say, listen, if you have any issues, your tank leaks, you don't know how to take it apart, you don't know how to turn it on, jump into this Zoom room and we'll give you one-on-one video chat support. Or even your Facebook, your business Facebook page. You can do video chat through the messenger on your Facebook page. This is extremely important to make sure that people don't go back to cigarettes. And you know how frustrating it can be when you get something and it doesn't work. It's so easy to go back to cigarettes. Okay?
It is. It is. I love that idea. I have a question for Cemetery Gates. He said his shop had to close, even curbside.
Yes.
I'm curious as to where he is.
There's Texas, I heard, is shutting down. New York is. I heard some areas they're really enforcing it as well too. Colorado, done. No curbside, no nothing. I mean, nothing. Look, to me, as 𝗵𝗍, vape shops are essential. Okay, I don't make the laws, but I think that if you're going to allow a gas station to operate and calling that essential, obviously it has gas. Okay, but if you don't have, if you have a stay-at-home order, who needs gas? The gas station also sells cigarettes, alcohol, stuff like that. So it sells vices. I think it's unfair. I think it's unjust, and I think it's unconstitutional that you allow one form of nicotine delivery to be sold, a very harmful nicotine delivery to be sold at the gas station, and you're not going to let a less harmful delivery method of nicotine be sold at the vape shop. They are essential. As long as we take into consideration what the CDC recommends, curbside service, no contact, make sure everything is done correctly, you wipe down and all that. But some states are not. Tennessee, even though we were not deemed essential, they're allowing these businesses to operate with curbside service.
Right. So Cemetery Gates says he's in San Antonio.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
The thing that really bothers me here is that if you cannot get to your vape shop, if you cannot get curbside, if you cannot get delivery, if you cannot get service,
yeah,
right? What's the easiest thing in the world to do? Is to go to the gas station.
Gas station sells cigarettes all day, every day.
Right, every day. And that bothers me. Yeah. Right. I fear that a lot of people, and once they have that first cigarette, you're gonna be like,
yeah.
Especially because when you think about your cigarette, right? Your cigarette was your friend for a long time.
Yeah.
It was with you through good times. It was with you through bad times. And it was always there for you.
Yeah.
So now with this horrible situation that this country is in, right, along with other countries all over the world, I don't want you to rediscover that friend again.
Yeah.
Right. That friend, you might feel, and I know people are going to feel comforted by that friend. Yeah. People are going to be like, look, at this point, I don't give a fuck. I'm just give me my cigarette, give me my nicotine, and let me forget about what's going on around me. Right. I don't want people to fall into that.
Yeah.
Even if you have to go to the gas station, even if you're forced to buy a Juul or to buy a puff bar I would much rather see you do that than go back to smoking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, maybe not puff bars. I'm just kidding. I had somebody message me on Instagram the other day, just a couple of days ago, friend of a friend that vapes, and said, I'm tired of these disposables. Can you suggest something? And I made some recommendations on side. These disposables are fun and all that, but I think that in the long term, I think a lot of people are realizing that there needs to be something else, or they're going to go back to smoking. In fact, let me tell you exactly what I'm not going to tell you who it is. I haven't gotten permission, but I will tell you the exact message, just so you can understand how people are. Hey, what is a good vape to buy? I smoked all of these dumb disposables and I don't want to smoke cigarettes. People are just getting frustrated. Trust me. So this is what we're going to try to do. We're trying to help you navigate a little bit online, how to get some information. If you want to pass on information to your customers using some of this information that you're going to get in this video, great. If you're a vapor and you want to pass this information to a smoker, great. If you're a newly converted vapor, great. You're going to get some more info. Some of the stuff you are going to get a little bit repetitive and stuff like that, but it's very, very important to put this all combined in what we're going to call in this episode, Vaping and the Coronas, and how to navigate it. So
what surprises me, what surprises me, because I've always said in the past that I always thought like the disposable, right? the disposable in the gas station was the most important electronic cigarette that was out there.
Yeah.
Because if somebody goes in on a whim and they're going to buy their pack of cigarettes and they see that disposable over there, they're like, you know what? I heard a lot about these electronic cigarettes. Let me give it a shot. Let me try it. So you're either going to win them over or you're going to lose them forever right there with that one purchase. I just never thought disposables would become like, that's just the thing to buy.
Yeah, I get it. You know, I mean, they all taste the same to me. They all have like high nicotine salt with you know, some kind of a 𝗃𝗽𝗏 or WS-23, so it gives you a hit. You know, I mean, I get it. There's a place in the market for it, but that's not here or there. A little programming note: for the last 2 days, my eyes are falling out of my skull, but I am working on being able to put our shows on Roku, meaning that when the show live streams, you don't have to get on a computer. You can go to our channel on Roku. It's a private channel, so you have to add it. This is how you add it. There's only one video up there now, so I've figured out how to get to this point. I'll be working for the rest of the week until the live with Phil and Dibby next Tuesday, trying to figure out how are you going to be able to get the live stream to be on Roku as well too. So now you can just sit in bed in your boxers, your underwear, or naked if you want to, and watch us on your Roku streaming box. Over 10 million people have a Roku. I didn't even know that many people. But it's a really good medium if you want to just pass it on to somebody, again, as a smoker show. They don't have to get on the internet and feel weird and all that. They'll be able just to watch the stream on their TV.
We should figure out if we could do that for Amazon Fire Stick too.
There is a way to do it for Fire Stick as well too. Roku is open platform, and it's much easier. And a lot of people are doing this. I didn't know, but there's tons of private channels, even some porn channels for you. I've bookmarked.
Oh, really?
them.
Can you send those?
I've bookmarked them. Last programming note: we are asking for submissions for the other show that we do every other Tuesday, which currently is called Live with Phil and Dimi. It's a temporary name. It's a Corona name. But if you want to submit a name for that show, contest@tasteyourjuice.com. And if we pick your submission, you're going to win an Anakin Proton Mini with an Ajax kit. Now, there's going to be a lot of screen sharing here. So I have prepared.
You have, and I have an idea.
Somebody's just watching on the stream and texting me right now. So I really don't. I just and you know her too. So you know. Anyway, so
I have an idea for next Tuesday. I call it Grab a Bin.
What does that mean?
I have 6 bins, actually 6 bins and 2 drawers full of product that I never reviewed because of all of our travel. Okay. So I think just randomly, I'm going to grab a bin and we'll see
go through it.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
I think that's cool.
And maybe somebody would want me to review something that's in the bin. I think that'd be fun to do.
That would be cool.
Grab
okay. So what we have
next Tuesday,
grab a bin. All right. So what we have set up for you today is in 4 different sections of navigating this online world of vaping. Number 1, we're going to talk about research and education, something that you should do about everything. Number 2, online hardware purchases. Number 3, online e-liquid purchases. And number 4, something very, very important, and that is advocacy. Advocacy is just as important to vaping, especially when you're newly converted, because you're very passionate about quitting smoking, and you're more prone to fight for that product and fight for the right for you to continue that, especially when you see the immediate health reactions to you. But Phil, research and education is something that, I mean, we do on everything. I know, for example, we were just talking about this the other day. We talked about a microphone stand. All right. So what is the first thing that you do? Forget about vaping. Just in general, every purchase that you're going to do online.
I researched the piss out of it. You know who has that in common with me too? Matt Cully, Suck My Mod.
Mm-hmm.
We enjoy when it comes time to purchase a new piece of gear, whether it be electronic or otherwise. Just the ridiculous amount of research starts, right? And like I'll take just a day where I'm looking at Amazon and I'm looking at Amazon reviews and I'm reading through the reviews, and then I pick a product on Amazon and I go look it up on YouTube and I watch a bunch of reviews on that and I try to figure out, is this what I really want? Is it maybe not what I really want? Is it going to work for me? So there's that whole process of investigation and research before whoever I decide gets my money. Yeah. Right.
So it's funny that the first question comes in, and it's actually the first topic that I'm going to talk about. And the first question that came in from RM Carmen is, can you guys talk about opinion on vaping and COVID-19? Media says vaping is really bad. That is a great question from somebody that is new. So what we need to do is every time that you see these, let me switch the cam to this. Well, I'm multitasking. My fingers are just going crazy. Every time that you hear something like that on the media, and the media is very, very smart. They know how to use these buzzwords, these keywords we're talking about, right? Exploding e-cigs, vaping epidemic, right? It's the same thing that we're seeing now with COVID as well too. Just don't panic, okay? Vaping headlines get clicks, especially when they're bad. So research yourself first. We're going to talk a little bit about more that as we're going through this first segment of research. But you want to learn about vaping, or you saw a bad story that says vaping and COVID is mixed together. Well, imagine that. Right off the bat, the first thing that I'm going to show you today is the announcement. This is from Iowa's Attorney General. This was a letter that was sent from Tom Miller. I don't know if you remember. I took a picture with him in Washington, D.C. a few months ago, Phil. This is the Attorney General of the state of Iowa. And this is a letter that he sent out to most of our, if not all, of the heads of the FDA tobacco, the CDC, the NIH. He's sending this letter that pretty much addresses the issue as far as what the government has done in mixing and misleading and fear-mongering consumers into believing that if you vape, you have a bigger chance in contracting the corona disease, which is absolutely false. So in this letter, the Iowa Attorney General says, we are surprised and disappointed to see a statement about that. And then he goes on to list some of the process and the evidence that he is presenting to these heads of so-called public health, and what kind of impact these false statements that the government is making. So there are around 12 million vapers and 34 million smokers in the United States. If they are to receive information with life or death consequences, especially at this time of greatly enhanced personal pressures, they deserve better than an ad hoc email from a FDA spokesman sent to a single online news service. If the federal government is going to provide advice, it should be available via FDA and CDC websites, validated for its veracity and clarity, tested for unintended consequences, and made widely available to recognized and trusted health professionals. Amen and bravo to that. I can go on and on where this particular case can be proven by various leaks or Bloomberg funded articles that have popped up with absolutely zero scientific backing up. And this is exactly what the AG here, Tom Miller, is addressing. Evidence. It is likely that many older adult vapers will have underlying conditions that increase their vulnerability and likelihood of severe or fatal COVID-19 symptoms. This is because many are former or current smokers and will have accumulated damage to their cardiovascular and respiratory systems through many years of smoking. Many will be vaping with the express purpose of reducing their smoking-related risks and or relieving their systems. It is therefore particularly important that great care is taken with advice to this group. On what basis is FDA confident that it is right to discourage people with underlying smoking-related conditions from vaping at this time, given the likely alternative for many is a return to smoking? Very, very well done here. And then advice. If the FDA is going to provide advice on smoking and vaping at this time, it must do this based on recognition of the pronounced difference in risk between smoking and vaping, the difficulty that many face in quitting nicotine use completely, the risks of harmful unintended consequences, and the strong association of smoking with poverty and various forms of disadvantage. Harm reduction is a valid concept, and its potential is well established. We do not believe the FDA has any basis for making recommendations like this about smoking and vaping that are specific to COVID-19 at the time. So, just like we always do on the Smoker Show, when there's some kind of a buzz going on in the news, we provide you with the evidence. We provide you with the research. We provide you with valid documents that you can use if you're a vapor, A, to debunk that, B, if you're a smoker worried about trying vaping, saying, oh, okay, I get it now. I'm going to continue on my path, and I'm going to try vaping as a less harmful alternative. Very, very important. I'll have Bill put that link inside the chat. Let me just toss it to him right here. If you want to download the PDF and print it, what I did as soon as I received that, I passed it on to my lobbyist here in Tennessee. I passed it on to my PR firm, and I passed it on to all my members of the Tennessee Smoke-Free Association so they can print it out and have it in their shops as well too, which is very, very important. Correct?
Did you see? Well, first of all, 𝗫𝗠 is asking for the name of the Roku channel. So can you put that up again, please?
Oh, the Roku channel is called Vape Now. Vape Now. It's just temporarily. It's right there. And this is how you go to my.roku.com/ad/Vape Now, and then you can see mine and Phil's pretty faces on there. You can add the channel, and then that will be the placeholder. We'll play around with how we're gonna develop the replays and stuff like that. My biggest concern is to have it streamed live. I think that would be really, really good, and then have maybe a backup channel to put all the replays up there. Right. The bad thing is that Roku does not allow YouTube streaming. It's against the terms of service, and if you do it, they'll ban you. So you actually have to have a host to upload my videos, and then a certain URL that's only read by Roku, where they can pull the videos off that server. So this is 2-hour shows take up a lot of gigabytes.
Did you? That was a great article that you read on COVID and vaping. Did you see the article that CASA put out?
I did. Yeah, and I did. And I'm going to talk about that here a little bit as well too, as we're going along. I think that that main thing that we wanted to get across with this is from the Attorney General of the state of Iowa telling you, don't worry about it. So don't listen to us. Listen to what these people are saying. There's plenty of scientific evidence to that there to show that whether you vape or not, you can get corona. Vaping is not going to make it any harder. And we have to be fair and balanced on this as well, too. Vapors, we have this mistake. It has to go both ways, okay? When I hear a vapor saying, well, by vaping, I reduce my risk to catch corona. Well, listen, there's no scientific evidence to back that. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not saying that it possibly couldn't, but I think it should be fair that we as vapors be responsible in what we say as well, too. You don't want to tell somebody, well, if you vape, you're not going to catch corona. You're completely free. Yeah, there are some research that has been done back in the 40s with propylene glycol being inhaled as an antibacterial. It's used in hospitals. It's used in casinos. I get all that. But telling people that if you vape, you're not going to catch corona is stupid. Stop doing that. So it has to be fair both sides and not be one-sided as well, too. All right, I got tons of stuff. We got to move along. All right, so where we're going to get started, right? I'm going to get started here. You want to get some research, you want to get some education about vaping before you get started. A very, very good place to start is obviously my good friend Phil 𝗪𝗠𝗪's website, testyourjuice.com. Tons, and plethora of information here. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you here to see. This, of course, is in the first tab, getting started, introduction. There is a video here. Don't be afraid about seeing some of these old videos, okay? Some of the old videos have a lot of good information. Then that might be relative completely when it comes to hardware and liquids, but the information back then is just as important as the information today. And Phil, what I like about what Phil has done here, he's separated, okay? We have, getting started, is vaping safe? We have the Smoker Show tab, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit. We have a glossary. We have beginner's guide to electronic cigarettes and the technology that goes behind it. Then we have resources down here on the left, battery information as you're getting more advanced, and all that kind of stuff. It's very, very important. Why is vaping? Why is it called that? If I go to the next tab, you're going to see here, whoop. If you're going to the next tab, this is the Smoker Show landing page. You can go over here. You can find all the episodes. I think there's over 70 episodes right now of the Smoker Show with tons and tons of information on there that they're going to address all your specific questions on vaping. You can click on this link to go to the shows. And another really great thing about here is that you can click this and get all the slides for the show, right? So you get it downloads a little PowerPoint presentation. Yep. And then you can see all the slides that are a living document. I'll put it here on the screen so people can see it. This is a living document that has all kinds of, it will answer a lot of questions with links. It has on here just tons and tons of information. I think that these are the some of the best work that we have done here. Talks about what is vaping. You want to switch to vaping, hardware direction. Everything is broken down, and even cost analysis of switching from vaping to smoking. You can get that all on the Smoker Show page. But one of the most important parts that you're going to find on testyourjuice.com, and again, this is my opinion, if you go to the tab here on the left and you click, where am I? this right here. This right here, the success stories and validations, these are all 110% true. Sometimes you go to some websites that have fake reviews. You've heard about that, right, Phil? There's nothing absolutely fake about this. These are emails that have been sent to Phil, whether it regards Phil himself or me and Phil for the work that we've done in helping converting smokers. And you can go and read all. These are people just like you and me that quit smoking with vaping, and it talks about their personal story. And who knows, maybe one of these stories is very, very similar to yours. But this page here should give you encouragement. This page here should give you the desire and the drive to get away from cigarettes. And in my opinion, one of the biggest assets of tasteyourjuice.com. Phil?
I'm so proud of that section. I mean, I'm proud of the entire website. The website's got it's got my life on it. My life since I started vaping is really on the site.
Yeah.
I've put a lot of time and effort into the site. I've been able to get some what I feel important contributors to the site. Battery Mooch posts on tasteyourjuice.com. Bill Tarling now puts all of a lot of the news articles that he gets that he would normally put on vape distribution. He puts those on tasteyourjuice.com. The Vapers Glossary, the Getting Started. There's just so much information on tasteyourjuice.com that you can utilize, and not only yourself, but you could share with others too, to maybe help somebody else along in their journey to vaping.
And we look forward to one day, maybe you send us another email and you be part of that, and you see your name on there and see your story on there, and kind of, freeze in time the moment that you quit smoking, and you can go back and look at that and say, a year later, look, I remember I sent this to Phil and quit smoking. And I think that those are the little things that smokers really, really desire, is these milestones. 1 year, 2 years, 1 month, 1 week. One day is a milestone for a smoker. Let's not forget about that, as us more advanced vapors sometimes get caught up in the hype. All right, moving along.
I love to get those success stories from you guys. So, if you got one, send them to me and you will be on that page as well.
I'm expecting to get one this week from the Mexican guy that sent us a message earlier. 𝗃𝗽𝗲𝗏. No, I screwed it up. 𝗃𝗽𝗏𝗏. P collector. All right, moving along. One of the biggest sources of information for when I started vaping, and I know this is absolutely true for Phil, and I want Phil to talk about this a little bit more, is the ECF. Now, you're going to hear a lot of the older vapors and some of the advanced vapors kind of, joke around about ECF. I got banned, and I did this, did that. And there was a lot of that back in the day. Keep in mind that back in the day, there was no Facebook when this was the most popular thing. Most of the vaping would happen on forums, right? So we had to join a forum, or this one, or Vapers Forum, if you were strong enough to survive Vapers Forum back in the day. But ECF is definitely one of the biggest data banks of information, right, Phil?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, ECF is where I got my start. ECF is where I asked all of my initial questions. ECF is where I wrote textual reviews. So yeah, it has a really, really special place in my heart. And there are a lot of really, really helpful people there that will answer your questions if you have them. The one thing with forums and, something that even like on Facebook, understand that everybody feels like they have the right answer, right? So sometimes you have to sift through numerous answers before you find one that fits your needs. But some really, really super helpful people over at the ECF. And it's just been a staple in the community. It says it right there. The voice of vaping since 2007.
And this forum has been around since 2007. It's broken down into sections. So you see here, new members, general discussion. You can go into APV, mods. You can get to tanks, pod systems. They do a really good job of breaking everything down. You're going to see that companies here, these are Chinese companies that have their individual forums. So if you have a product-specific question, you can go and ask the company or whoever's representing that company on that forum. And then it goes down into even more discussion. You're going to see here that there's news, there's FDA regulation, there's legislation, even cannabis discussion, if that's your thing, Phil. ECF Veterans Forum, community. It goes even further down to more companies that are U.S.-based. You can see here that a lot of the electronic cigarettes that sell online, they have sub-forums as well, too. So keep in mind, this is a business, this is commercial. But the biggest tip I'm going to give you, whether this is going to be in forums whether this is going to be on Facebook, whether in any kind of medium where people are interacting and you ask a question, if the first response you get is the best is, ignore it. This is how you navigate through life, really, not just vaping. If the first response you get is the best atomizer is this, the best device is this, if that's the answer, then ignore it and move on to the second answer. People that are asking you questions to find exactly what your problem is or to guide you correctly to what you need to buy and not what you want to buy or what they want you to buy. There's a lot of that going on as well, especially in the Greek forums. In the Greek Facebook, it's controlled by 3 or 4 clicks. And if you get into these Greek, and I know that this, like Mouth to Lung Vapers used to be a great group, and that's turned into that as well too. But a lot of these Facebook groups turn into that because they become clicky. So you get on there and you say, well, I bought this liquid and it tastes like rubber tire. And then like the 10 people go, oh, no, you didn't do it right. You didn't steep it right. No, this is millions of people use this. These are all kind of like paid placement responses to that. So be very, very careful when we're navigating that. One great thing about this community is like nobody will make fun of you. Like if you ask a question, I think wholeheartedly a lot of people want to help. But be a little bit smart about that. Be a little bit savvy and kind of trying to navigate through those answers as well too, which is, it's unfortunate, but that's just a sign of the times and where we are now.
But also remember too, if you have a question, that's why we put our emails on the show, right?
Yeah.
You can send me an email. You can send Dimitri an email. You can send me a Facebook. You can send Dimitri a Facebook message.
Yeah, absolutely.
I respond. Since I've been in this game, I've responded to everybody that has sent me anything. Okay. It's been a challenge at times, but I've been able to do it. And, occasionally I miss, 1 or 2 every now and then, out of 1,000, which I think is a pretty good record. Mm-hmm. But we're here to help too, with this show and off this show.
Yeah, absolutely. ECF, again, back to the ECF thing. I think it's a great source of information, really good search bar. Go through there, look at some of the questions people have had. Use the search tool. It works very, very well, and try to find some information as there. We're going to try not to get banned. That was the joke back in the day. Another really great website. I have to bring this up for you. This is, again, part of the first chapter of research and education. This is my good friend Kevin's website. Kevin is a consumer advocate. He does not have any financial interest in the industry, except that he quit smoking for his kids and his grandkids, and he really believes in the product. And he's a fantastic guy. Number one. Number two, he has put a lot of work. Not the easiest to navigate website in the world, but there is so much info. I've used this website myself to gather information about vaping when I have to do a presentation in Tennessee or when I have to go talk to a legislator. He has just a ton of information here. This is vapinglinks.blog, B-L-O-G, Vaping Links. We'll have all this in the description of the replay as well too. But what I like about it, if you look here on the right-hand side, these are all different categories of stuff you're going to find. Here's 1 billion lives, and it's alphabetically put it. David Gorlitz, Master Settlement Agreement. So you want to hear about, we're talking about Master Settlement Agreement all the time, right? What is the Master Settlement Agreement? Look at all this resources that you can go and click on these links and find out why people hate vaping or their cash registers hate vaping. There's science, there's articles, there's news, there's a magazine that he puts out every day. It's an online magazine that kind of covers all the news that he's gathered from that day into one post. It's just bookmark this. If you're an advanced vapor, if you are the smartest bro vapor in the world, you know everything. You don't know everything that's on this blog. If you're a new vapor, if you're a smoker, please bookmark this and go over it and try to get some and learn some stuff. There's a lot of really good information here. Moving along, this is another bookmark that you should have, ecigaretteresearch.com. This is from, of course, one of the most renowned electronic cigarette scientists in the world. I think he's approaching now 70 peer-reviewed published studies. He's also co-authored many studies on vaping. This is a cardiologist, ex-smoker, that before quitting smoking and transitioning into vaping in 2012, I think, decided to do his first research to make sure before he quit smoking that he was trying something that was less harmful. This is how his journey started. And for some of you guys that are OG, some of you guys that are from back in the day, the first appearance that Dr. F ever made in the community was on the VP Live Vape Team show. The first study that he did was there, and from there it was Dr. F is a great guy. One thing that you have to know about Dr. F is that he's very, very fair, and he says a lot of good things about vaping, but also when he sees bad in vaping, he'll bring that up as well too. And this is why I respect the man. But if you go on here, you can just click on research. It's category from year. This is his first one in 2013 that he published, all the way up to 2020. You can just click on the year, and you can find the stuff that has been published by him of the year. This is the first one that was published here in 2020 for him. E-cigarette use is strongly associated with smoking cessation in the European Union. No, duh, we all know that, but here's a actual science that can prove that and show it to you. Anything else that you want to add with Dr. F? Your interaction with him is actually unique as well too. Like every time you ask him a question, he's always there to answer.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that is exactly what I was going to say about Dr. Farsalinos. I've had the opportunity to sit down with him and talk to him about things like vitamins and cameras and quadcopters. So like I've had the chance to talk to him about things
nerd stuff, basically.
Yeah, and nerd talk, right? But whatever, dude. And he's a fascinating guy. He's a really, really smart guy. He's a very opinionated guy. He's got an opinion about everything, right? But he's also very, very approachable. Yeah. Right. So one of the there is one email. There's one type of email that I won't answer. And those are like health related, or, I heard that vaping gives me gum disease, or if I vape, is it going to raise my blood sugar level? Like, I won't even, I'll direct people to Dr. Farsalinos for questions like that. Right. Yeah. Because I think he's the best chance of getting a valid response from. Right. Yeah. As far as in somebody in the medical field. Yeah. He's always been very approachable. He always answers all my questions. Sometimes I may not like the way he responds, but that's Dr. F, and I respect him for that. Right. The same way you do too. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And I think thanks to Bill for putting the links inside the chats as well too, and we'll have them in the description as well too of the thing. Let me move that over there. Okay. Next, research. We're still on research, believe it or not. Boy, we got a lot of stuff to cover. But I think this is very, very important. I think this is stuff that you can pass on, and even if you're a vapor, you can use some of this information yourself, especially the way that we're getting killed in the media right now. This is just a couple honorable mentions. 5vape in France. This is the professional trade group in France, but they work very, very close with 𝗃𝗽vape, which if you saw our Smoker Show special that we did when we visited 𝗃𝗽vape, we talked to the scientists that are running it. They work together to produce science and show to the government and the European Union and the world that vaping is better than smoking. Chrome, for me, automatically translates this page from French into English, and it does it very, very good well. But a wealth of information. You can see there immediately, COVID-19, they're picking up on the stories that are running. They have an answer for it immediately. If you click on it, there's protocols that they have recommended for vape shops, for manufacturers, listed on their website for vapors, what to do to protect yourself while you're vaping from the coronavirus, meaning, cleaning your devices and stuff like that. But it also covers a whole lot of science that comes out as well, too. Fake news, press releases, going against the World Health Organization, or what I would like to call the World Harm Organization. It's a really, really good site, 5vape.org. 5vape.org. Bookmark this site and use it. And I can tell you, Phil will attest to this. We were very impressed with their scientific arm, the head of the scientific. We interviewed him extensively. You can go back and see that the old Smoker Show episode where we played the clips from him. But we were very impressed, again, by the fair and balanced approach that they take. They don't come out and say, vaping is harmless. There's nothing wrong with vaping, and vape away. They were very, very fair, and they said, well, vaping is safer. But, we also have to take a look at this and this, how to make it safer, how to make it even better, safer. And in fact, the scientists said if vaping is 95% safer right now, for us, our goal is to make it 98% safer, or even make it safer than that. And I really respect that, right, Phil? Yeah, I agree. And when we were talking to them, I said, what's the goal? And they said the goal is to make vaping 100% safe. We don't know if we'll ever be able to get there, but we're sure as hell going to try. Or we're going to work really, really hard to prove just how safe vaping is when you compare it to smoking. So, it's really interesting when you hear from these scientists and you hear people that are actually doing research into this. When they compare vaping to smoking, you get a real comfortable feeling about what you're doing, versus smoking, right?
Yeah.
You know that there's a lot of tobacco harm reduction that's going on there. It's very, very unfortunate that in the United States they are trying way too hard, like just really, really trying way too hard to find. Yeah, thank you. To find the least little bit thing wrong with it, and when they find the least little bit thing wrong with it, they blow it out of proportion, right? It becomes clickbait. It becomes the next popular news story that's going to get views on whatever news channel that it is. It's really, really frustrating. I mean, we see that a lot in media right now.
Yes.
I mean, it's very, very blatant what's going on in media right now.
It really is.
Thank you, Costello. Yes, Tony Romo pushing Skechers right on the radio now.
Yeah.
So we're hip.
Well, I mean, Tony Romo is a bad quarterback that's old and has issues, with he's very, very injury prone. So yeah, I mean, I get that. Obviously, what else could he couldn't be pushing Nikes. Like nobody would sign him from Adidas or something like that. Are you kidding me? Only Skechers would sign Tony Romo. Absolutely. I totally see that. Thanks, Ed, for reminding me once again that old people wear Skechers. And another super chat. This is from Trey. Hey guys, I talked to you earlier about something to get from my mom. He's looking for online decently priced cool-fire or EQ, and we're going to cover that as well today, Trey, if you want. I want to clarify something because I saw a comment on the replay when I was listening to the audio. Somebody said that the EQ isn't the EQ adjustable. I was answering Trey's question where I said adjustable airflow. The Inikin EQ is adjustable wattage, but it's not adjustable airflow. The Inikin Zenith tank, what I recommended for his mom, because she said that the calibrant was too loose, the jewel was too tight. That's why I suggest the Zenith tank that has the adjustability of that airflow so she can fine-tune the draw directly how she likes it. That's why I suggested that.
Was Trey who we were talking to today?
Yes.
Oh, well, I tell you what, Trey, let's get a cool fire out to your
mom. Do you have a cool fire? I don't have a cool fire here.
I think I have... Guys, my Smoker Show stock for giving stuff away, as you can imagine, is dwindling down to nothing at this point.
Yeah, because we haven't gotten anything from China.
Yeah, we haven't gotten anything from China. But Trey, do me a favor. Get a hold of me. Let me write your name down, and I'll get something out to your mom.
Look at that, Trey. That's so nice of you, Phil. Well, I mean, you only have to ship the package out to Virginia, so I guess you have some extra postage money. Unlike myself, I literally had to put my house up for collateral to send the stuff to the UK. But yeah, Trey, get a hold of us, and we'll send your mom. That's very, very sweet of it, and we send some liquid along with it as well too from our sponsors. While you're doing that, I want to do another honorable mention. The Ashtray blog. This is from the UK. Keep in mind that this is again a commercial website. There's a lot of links here and affiliate links, and a lot of these websites, this is the way that they're going to operate. And you're going to see this theme throughout these websites that we show you. But E-Cigarette Direct does a great job with the Ashtray blog. They do some really, really good articles. They have a lot of great information. They have a lot of great interviews. For me, again, one of the best sites coming out of Europe as far as trying to get information. For example, 21 mistakes people get wrong when they start vaping. If you're new, this is something that you want to read. Now, of course, you're going to see all these placements, for the little devices here. I think actually Inikin is one of the sponsors here. So you're going to see a lot of the stuff that pops up here in the middle of the website. This is how the website pays its bills, okay? But what's really, really important is to read the articles. For example, what we say here all the time on the Smoker Show. If you're going to buy an advanced vape mod from the beginning of your journey, it might not work out for you because there's a lot of things that could possibly go wrong. And that's just great advice. Now you see it written on a website as well, too. This is the kind of information that you're going to get from the Ashtray blog. And I really, really like it. And I always try to link the articles. Just a couple other notable things. Facebook is a great tool if used properly, and you can navigate all the bullshit that goes on Facebook. This is a group that one of our sponsors, Lunar Rover, has. This is One Small Step, Quit Smoking Support Group. So you can go inside here and ask some questions. If you're having some, issues with your vape, or if you want to find out about vaping, or even if you're just having a hard day and you want to have a cigarette, these Facebook groups are great. Another one is This one right here. Look at that. Mr. 𝗃𝗍𝗪 and Mr. 𝗃𝗽𝗪𝗘. We run this platform, Serious Manufacturing Help Group. Just because it's Inikin doesn't mean we're not going to help you. If you come inside and you have a question, you're more than welcome to join our group and ask the question away. And especially if you have any issue with the products that Inikin makes, we'd be more than happy to help. But any kind of question is welcome. No question is too dumb. And here's just another one. You can just type these in your search bar. New to Vaping, Civilized Vapers Community. This is one of the oldest groups I've been in. This started back in 2013 by Eric Miller, a very, very good friend. But this is a very good, solid group that does not put up with BS. So you're not going to see links inside here. You're not going to see drama. You're not going to see offensive stuff. They run a very, very tight ship. And all the questions, so, look at this question here. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but is anyone else worried about vaping and the virus? And I've tried numerous times to quit with no luck, blah, blah, blah. Like, we answered that question today. It would be very easily for somebody just to put a link to the show underneath there or provide the information that we had and just put, you're not going to see people bashing each other or anything like that.
And by the way, folks, I know we're going through this really fast. Dimitri's going through this really fast, but what I'm going to do is make sure that I get all of the links that you're seeing from Dimitri, and in the replay on tasteyourjuice.com, there will be a complete list of links that you're going to see and that we're going to talk about on this show. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the last thing for vaping, as far as research and education, the Holy Grail. Do you know what the Holy Grail is, Phil?
Tasteyourjuice.com?
Except that.
Oh, okay.
This report by the Royal College of Physicians called Nicotine Without Smoke, talking about tobacco harm reduction. This is a PDF. This was put out back in 2016, and it has evolved. It's being updated every year. It was updated again in 2019, the last time. Once again, reaffirming that electronic cigarettes are at least 95% less harmful than tobacco smoking. What this is basically a peer review of all available studies that have been done on electronic cigarettes by a group of physicians, and then they put out a report that based on the evidence that they have seen, and based on the data that they have gathered, this is in 2016, but they gather the data every year using a barometer from the European Union. Based on the data that they get every year, they put out a report, and that report still, to this day, states that vaping is much, much less harmful than smoking. And you can, and this is a lot of pages here. You can go through them and just kind of look at the research yourself. It's a really great thing if you want to just print it out and just use it as, before you go to bed. Read a couple of pages, and you're going to find out a whole lot about vaping and why we do what we do here on the Smoker Show.
Yeah. And Bill, if you're gathering a list of the links, send them to me after the show.
That'd be
By
great.
the way, I just because in this next segment I'm going to talk about a couple of different devices, and I just filled up the Zlide tube with the #1 best-selling watermelon peach.
It really is, by the way. I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you later.
It's that really clean coil. You know what I mean? It's just delicious. Really.
Now available from Medusa Distribution, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, YouTube is a great outlet. YouTube can be used in part 1 of our segment today, in part 2, part 3, and part 4. YouTube is a great platform. This entire industry was built on YouTube. This is where we started, was YouTube. So there's a lot of information that you can get on there. Just a couple of tips. Whether you're shopping for hardware, liquid, or just to get information about vaping, always do multiple search. Don't just click on one video and then just take their word for it. When it comes to personalities, if you want to call it that, definitely not celebrities. Well, maybe Super Bloke. But aside from that, when it comes to personalities, you need to find people that you feel comfortable with and you can follow. Right? So look around. There's a lot of people that do videos, anywhere from 100 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers. That subscription number really doesn't make any difference. It makes difference if you connect with that person, right? If your journey is kind of the same, if the way that you vape is kind of the same, if the way that your liquid taste is kind of the same, find and also compare it with other videos as well too. Don't just go blind on one video. Videos in 2020 are more presentations than they are reviews, okay? And that is simply because, there is brick and mortar stores. You can go out and physically grab the devices, where when we started, we didn't have that. I guarantee you that back in 2011 and 2012, nobody would buy a device until they saw a review from it and multiple reviews from it, and got everybody's opinion, especially from the guys. It was a handful of us that were doing reviews back in that day. and then they could gather all that information before they made the first purchase. But now that you have to buy online, looking at these reviews is very, very important. And what I'm trying to get at is that don't be afraid to look back. Like if you find a device that's 2 years old, there's nothing wrong with it. Don't be afraid to go back and look at a video from 2 years ago and get the information for that product. I guarantee you it's just going to vape just as good today as it did 2 years ago. Right, Phil?
Absolutely. I mean, I can remember shops coming up to me, back in my heyday of reviewing, that would tell me, we only bring in stuff that you like.
Yeah.
Shops would tell me that. I've had e-liquid manufacturers come up to me and say, "Hey, thanks, Phil. You built our factory, because you gave a liquid a street shout out." I had a lot more pull back then, with what I said. But even to this day, like if I do a review, you're still getting my honest opinion. So my reviews today are the same exact as my reviews were back then. I'm still giving you my honest opinion on a product. And it is, but what I appreciate what Ďimitri said is you need to find somebody that you connect with, right? So maybe there's the young guys, maybe there's they don't relate to me, right? So maybe the middle age or maybe the seniors relate to me more now, and you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm really, really okay with that. Because that demographic needs to be helped too.
Sure.
Right. That demographic has lungs, and they need to be helped too. And they need to find tobacco reduction or harm reduction as well. So I think it is important to find somebody that you connect with, somebody you trust, somebody you believe in. Right. And then, you'll almost get like, you'll wind up like almost with a relationship with that person if you continue.
Or multiple relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong to cheat around on YouTube. There's absolutely nothing wrong to have multiple. And it's a great way to stay off cigarettes as well, too, because it keeps you occupied.
Yeah.
Just be careful. Sometimes when you go into YouTube, what I find really ironic is the algorithms and how vaping is being bashed. I don't know why BTS is on my
why
YouTube.
is that like the second? I wonder, Ďimitri, you're not BTS.
I really don't know why BTS is there. I'm not even going to show you my homepage.
I think you secretly watch BTS videos.
No, this is trending. That's why. See, I don't have it on home because then you're going to see where I've been this last week, and it's been all over the place. But this is what I found really interesting. When you type e-cig, what is the first thing that comes up? All I have is e-cig, right? It says e-cig blows up in man's pocket. This is the first result that comes up when you talk about e-cig. So, just type in a specific product that you're trying to find and then go. Another really good trick is here's a very good example. So if I put 𝗃𝗃 𝗃𝗃 and all the videos these are all the reviews that are coming up for the 𝗃𝗃 𝗃𝗃, what I can do is I can actually filter these by the upload date. So I can see what are the newest ones and then kind of go through them, and I can look at the older reviews as well too. YouTube gives you a lot of these opportunities to be able to find and gather a lot of information quickly. Now you might click on one of these videos and it's too loud, or somebody's cussing or something, you don't like it, you just move on to you definitely have a lot of options. So utilize YouTube for across the board for all the stuff that you're seeing on this tablet over here, starting with the research and education and moving your way down. So speaking of moving on the way down, let's move on to step number 2, which is online hardware purchases. And before we're going to start on this, I want Phil to kind of demonstrate when we're talking about purchases. And I know some of this is going to be repetitive. If you're an advanced vapor, I get it. Just go and hang out with your wife, or what? Who wants to hang out with your wife? You've been locked in for 2 weeks. But I understand that some of this might be repetitive, but keep in mind that we're trying to create this full package of a show for the online experience as well too. So what Phil is going to go very briefly over is, the 3 types of products that you're going to be able to buy on these websites.
Right. So I think the first one, and probably one of the more popular ones today, are going to be the pod mods, right? Everybody's talking about pod mods. All the companies are making pod mods. There's several different kinds of pod mods. They're, the same way with bigger devices. It's the same way with smaller devices. There's going to be your direct lung, your restricted direct lung, your mouth to lung. And we're going to talk about that more when we get into, navigating some of the online shops. But so like an example of a pod would be the 𝗃𝗃 EQ pod, right? And in the case of this one, you have the pod that you twist the bottom, you fill it up with e-liquid, you close the bottom, and the pod is good for X number of refills. All right. I can't give a good number because all e-liquids are different at this point, right? But eventually what you're going to do is this pod is going to get thrown away. You're going to get a new pod and you're going to fill it up and you're going to use it that way. Now, there are some other pods like the 𝗦𝗫𝗄𝗏, right? Again, this is another pod system, right? This pod here, you reuse the pod, but you change the coil on the inside. Okay, so this actually works a lot like a tank, and I've even made this comment in some of my review videos. Where is this really a pod, or is this just a coil, a tank that you replace the coil in? But I guess we're going to call it a pod because it's not cylindrical. I don't know, but that's what it is, right? So that's a different kind of pod, and then there's another kind of pod like this Juno right here, right? And the Juno is pre-filled. So you get the pod that already has e-liquid in it. You go ahead and use it. When the pod is empty, you take the pod, you throw it away. You get a new pod with more e-liquid. You put it in. This is probably one of the easiest ways to vape. May not be the most cost-effective. May not give you the choice and the variety, but certainly one of the easiest ways to vape nowadays, right? And those are pods, right? And that's just a small sampling of some pods. And then we have, you want to call them sticks? You want to call them what would they?
I would say a tube, a tube kit.
A tube, sure.
Yeah.
So I'll just show
cylindrical type.
Cylindrical, right?
Yeah.
I'll show you two kinds of tubes here. One of the tubes is like this here, the #1 best-selling unsalted. See, this is a tube, but no, I'm being serious here. So like the 𝗦𝗫𝗄𝗏 T18. This is going to be a T18-2. I think the T18-2 Mini is my current recommendation for like a starter kit, something that's very, very cigarette-like, something that's very, very approachable and easy to use. I've been recommending the T18 for years now, even before I was working with 𝗦𝗫𝗄𝗏, because I have that much belief and faith in the product, right? But this is a tube style. And in this case, it's just a tube that is the battery, okay? And there's some adjustment on here, and there's a tank. And the tank has a coil that you replace. So that's one kind of tube. Another kind of tube right here, actually very, very similar, the Zzlide tube, right? So the Zzlide tube, again, this one, the Zzlide tube itself is not adjustable, but it automatically reads the resistance of the Z coil that you're using, and it self-adjusts to the Z coil that you're using. And the Zzlide tube obviously comes with the Zzlide time, right? So there you go. That's another.
And if you put them next to each other, it's very, very easy to see a difference for somebody that's new. Bigger will obviously mean that you're going to have more power, right? So
bigger is going to be more power, more capacity as well.
Correct. So if that determination for you is like, oh, I like tubes, then break it down into a different category would be, well, how much do you smoke, right? You're out of the house constantly all day because you work as a UPS delivery driver. Right? So you need more battery. You're not accessible to a USB charging port all the time. That could be a determining factor for you from choosing what that first device is going to be.
Absolutely. That's actually one of the main reasons why, like right now, one of my favorite rigs is the MVP5 and the Zenith Pro. Simply because, number one, I can't tell you how many times I've used that flashlight and how many times that's come in handy. All right. That's number one. Number two, it's just got a massive battery. And number three, the Zenith Pro on here gives me a lot of liquid capacity. What are we, 5.5 mils in this one?
5.5, yeah.
Yeah. So I have a lot of liquid capacity here, and I have a lot of battery power here. So I know that I can get through definitely a couple of days with the battery and close to a day, depending on how I'm vaping, with a single fill on the tank. But I mean, even when it comes to box mods, right? This is a box mod.
Right.
This is a more complex. Go ahead.
Which puts us in the third category of devices, which would be the box style type of kits.
Right. So this is a box mod, right? This is a little bit more of a complicated box mod. There's a menu on this one, a lot of features and functions and things that you can do with it. You can create your own curves. You've got adjustable wattage. You've got temperature control, all kinds of things that you can do with this. And then there are simpler box mods as well. And a good example is the 𝗦𝗫𝗄𝗏, right? So the 𝗦𝗫𝗄𝗏, again, this is also going to, very similar to the Zzlide tube, right? It's going to sense the resistance of the coil that you're using, and it's going to give you different ranges of power depending on what resistance coil you're using. And then you just have a little button here and you just kind of adjust it up and down. Little bars go up there. Very, very simple to figure out. Less bars, less power. More bars, more power. So again, this is another box mod, right? But a much easier to use, much simpler, maybe a more approachable box mod for a new user.
Serious question. At your age, I know you get up a lot to pee in the middle of the night. Do you use the Anakin flashlight for that? From the
That's a serious question.
I was just putting that as another option for people that might be older. Like, oh, that helps out because I got to get up in the middle of the night to pee. So I'll just use a little flashlight. You'd be surprised that flashlight, how many uses it has. Until you need it, you don't know that you need it.
You know, I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you a little inside joke here. When the flashlight was first, introduced, I thought it was a little gimmicky.
Yeah,
I did. Until I started using the device, and that flashlight, number one, it's bright. It's a really, really good flashlight. Number two, it's come in handy, so I don't consider it gimmicky anymore. But when it first got released, I used to put the flashlight on, and then I would go over to Dimitri, and I'd say, this is the first mod that Dimitri can use to find his penis.
Oh,
that's right. I mean, how many times?
Phil, you said that a lot of times, but the truth is that
No. I know you saw mine. I know. Enough. Go on to the next.
All right. Let's not get into that until later. All right. So let's move on to the next category. So we're in the hardware shopping. I want to give you the biggest mistake that most of the websites do today. We've talked about this multiple times, and we're just going to try to give it to you with a little bit more of a visual today. I'm just going to bring up a couple of the most popular websites here in the United States, which would be My Vapor Store and Element Vapes, and they both do this mistake a little bit differently. So this is My Vapor Store, and if you're new and you go to this website and you go to starter kits, right? You hover over starter kits, and then we talked about the different styles that we have. We have the box mod, we have the disposable, we have the pen style. We want to choose something for us to buy. If I click on box mod starter kits, right? Look at the cross-reference section of products that we see here. This is not the definition of a starter kit, okay? This is a definition of a kit that could be used in various applications. Various kits have a starter, maybe an intermediate, maybe an advanced that wants to get another kit to use as a backup or something smaller to use as they go outside. Definitely not the definition of a starter kit as it is now. I highly suggest all the websites, if you're listening now, to please define the starter kits as mouth to lung or direct lung. It's very, very important. And we're going to give you like a little tip and tricks today on how doing this. But if I'm going through this, the first thing that you have to think about this and tell this to your smoker friends, bigger is not always better. In fact, it's quite the opposite in this case. Bigger is not better for smokers. Smokers need a tight draw. Smokers need something small, something that they can get used to in their hand, and something that they're not going to spend a lot of money. If I look at this, okay, I'm under this starter kit category, okay, and don't forget, okay, starter kit category. If I click on this device here, which, by the way, for $25 is a steal. I guess that one didn't sell very well, like the Beep. But if you look at this device, okay, look at this device. This actually has an RDA on it that you have to build your own coils to put on there. It is completely ridiculous that this is under that category. Okay, this is a very advanced device that requires you to have at least some basic knowledge of vaping before you pick it up. If you buy this as a starter kit, I guarantee you that you have a 90% chance of failure, even higher chance of failure if you buy this as your first starter kit. Definitely is not categorized correctly on this website. No. And if I pass on to Element Vapes, again, they're doing the same thing. We got starter kits here on the top, right? If I click on, let's say, on this case, pod systems. If I click on the pod systems, you can see, again, a variety of products that do two styles of vaping. Not all these are actually starter kits that do a mouth-to-lung starter kit, and I'm going to give you the prime example right here. If you look at this, the 𝗫𝗍, or if you look at some of the smoke product, they have direct lung coils in them as well too. Another example is the 𝗃 from Smoke. It is a completely open air draw, and as small as it is, and I really, really liked it. Remember when we first got it, Phil? And we're like, oh man, this is nice, and it's small and it's adjustable. This one right here, it looks small, but it does not do mouth to lung style vaping. It's completely opposite. So what these websites need to do is they need to incorporate somehow in the description if this does mouth to lung or if this does direct to lung. And I'm going to tell you, this is where YouTube is extremely helpful, folks. You can go to YouTube and look at the reviews, 3 or 4 different reviews for this product from the people that are actually using it. And one of the descriptors that the reviewer should be using is the draw, right? And they'll tell you, well, I can't mouth to lung this, or it's too airy. If they don't do that in a video, then you shouldn't be watching the video, right? But this is where YouTube can be very, very helpful for you to be able to navigate through this. Something that's shiny and big doesn't necessarily mean that it is a good product either, right, Phil?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I do, like, if I were to start a online show website today, I would have all of those categories, right? But I would have those categories under mouth to lung and direct or restricted direct lung, because I think that's so important.
Yeah.
And we're about to talk about a couple of things that you could look for. I'm going to let Dimitri talk about one thing that he pointed out before, but I'll tell you something that you could look at real quick, and you can tell. Look at the size of the mouthpiece.
Yes.
That's a dead giveaway.
Yes.
Right? A large diameter mouthpiece is going to scream direct lung or restricted direct lung.
Correct.
Right? Go ahead, Dave.
And another thing that I like to, and this again is a general rule, don't jump down my throat, because I know all you experienced and know-it-alls are going to jump down my throat. But in general terms, okay, a cigarette-like draw will most likely be higher resistance, lower wattage, where a direct lung will be lower resistance and higher wattage. This is a general rule of thumb. So if you see a device that, say, goes to 17 watts, like the Inikin Adept, well, guess what? That is a dead giveaway, in my opinion, that device is going to be mouth to lung. If you see another device that is 220 watts and comes with a 0.2 ohm coil, well, chances are that device is going to be direct lung. And if you do enjoy that direct lung, even though if you're a smoker, you really don't know it, but you might be, used to a bong or something else, you might be able to navigate to find that product for you as well, too. So this is not bashing one or the other. It's about finding the right product that you need to be navigating through this, and where your friends should be directing you to navigate to find the right product that's going to make you quit smoking. I want to give an honorable mention to this website here. And listen, these guys are not our sponsors anymore. Neither is but that's not the point. The point is to help you quit smoking, and we have to be fair. And when we're talking about these things, Electric Tobacconist is one of the best websites for starters, in my opinion. They offer all kinds of stuff, right? They offer anything from pre-filled pods to starter kits and stuff like that. They make the same mistake a little bit, but a little bit. It's done a little bit more. It's done better on this website than any other website that I have seen. Okay, so when you go to the website, first of all, it's laid out very good, very self-explanatory. You're going to see they have pods, they have subscription service if you want to get pods every month. They have advanced devices, they have liquids, they have all kinds of stuff. But look what they've done here, right? They don't have starter kits listed. They have vape kits, okay? So that's a good sign. I thought it was a good sign until I clicked more, but at least it doesn't say starter kits. Now, what we talked about earlier, we talked about the different styles, the sub-ohming style, the direct lung, the mouth to lung. Once you have a little bit of that experience, then you can go and navigate this site a little bit better. So if I go in here into vape pens, this is a really, really great example. If I go into vape pens, look over here. You're going to see that they have an 80-watt device right next to a 60-watt device. And then right below it, you're going to see the Inikin T18-2, which Phil said that he recommends, obviously, right down here, which is a 13-watt device, okay? All these are pen styles, I should say, starter kits, right? Vape kits. Some come with pre-filled pods. Some come with refillable tanks. Again, once you get into this, look what Phil said earlier. The mouthpiece is a dead giveaway. If you look at the mouthpiece from the Inikin Plexar here, see how big it is? That's a pretty good size. That this is going to be direct lung. But if you look down here at the Tigon from Aspire, if you look down here at this Boulder, if you look down here at this Inikin T18, you can see the mouthpiece just kind of looks like a cigarette, right? So that's going to be, you're going to be able to kind of determine if you want to have a looser draw, if you want to have a tighter draw. This website, and me, again, you're not going to see a lot of vapers promoting this because, it's not, the hottest thing on Instagram, unfortunately. But this website does a very, very good job, very good track record. It's actually a mirror from a European website that's been around for a very, very long time. I've met the guys in various conferences, actually, and I've talked to them as well, too. They're very committed into helping people quit smoking, and I highly recommend it. Again, like I said, even though they're not a sponsor, I have to be honest and fair when something good needs to be said.
Absolutely. Now I'll contact them and see if they want to become a sponsor.
Yeah, and if you're listening and you want to sponsor the show, we'd be more than happy to take you along. So that kind of navigates you in the hardware category. And most of these websites do offer liquid as well, too, so you can make a combination purchase. Liquid is going to be a little bit tricky and something that we're going to spend a little bit more time than hardware. I think that the hardware situation is easier because there's no taste involved. And by taste, I mean flavor, right? Because the flavor is defined by the liquid. Now, some of these devices give better flavor or worse flavor, but the determination of you buying the hardware will be done by the research that you're going to do, the YouTube videos that you're going to find, and so on and so on. When it comes to liquid, guess what? When you're buying online, you can't try it.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So
hey, before you get into the liquid, let me just jump in here real quick. Tofu flavored Go-Gurt. Hey, 𝗵𝗲, thanks to you, I can say that this year, January, I celebrated my first year smoke-free since I was 13 years old.
That's fantastic.
Just wanted to say thank you. Little clap for Tofu.
I got it right here. Oops.
Very good. Very good. Good job. Good job. I'm wishing you many, many more smoke-free years in your future. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
We need like a little signal. You go like that, and I'll hit the clap button.
Oh, all right.
Go like that, and I'll hit the clap button. Go like that, and I'll hit the boo button.
What's this one?
Hold on, I got that one too. Hold on. Oh God, where is it?
Well, get your shit together, brother. Come on, talk to me. I'm ready.
That's the one. Question. We'll get to that, Mooch. It's a little bit confusing question, but I will get to it. Okay, just hold off on that. I will get to it. I promise you, because we have to talk about liquid really quick. So, like we said, back in the day when we started the vape, there was no way of us trying products. But the good thing back then is that there were small bottles. If anybody is listening that's making liquid, or if you're a vape shop, we really need to go back to doing that. We really need to offer some smaller bottle options. And I know that there's some labeler restrictions, but there are ways of doing it through a box or a pull-out paper to put the proper warnings on a smaller bottle. Generally, the average size bottle in this industry today is 60 mils, 60 ml of liquid. For somebody that's starting, that is not a good option because your taste buds will change. We've talked about it extensively here on the show, something that tastes really good today. Within a matter of hours or the next day, it might change. It might not taste good. So you don't want to commit financially to large bottles of liquid, especially when you can't try them, like you're buying online. So buying online e-liquid is very, very tricky. And again, we'll tell you little tips and tricks what we used to do back in the day. We used to order sample packs. I went back and I found this picture from 2012 where I had all these little 10 ml bottles that I've ordered from Gourmet Vapor and from Juicy Vapor and all that. And, you know, you get to at least try it. You know, we were dripping 36 milligram at the time. So, you know, 10 mils would last you an entire week if you wanted to.
I remember back then I would literally buy only from the companies that had sample packs.
Yes.
I had so many sample packs, and it was fun. It was fun because you weren't committing a huge dollar amount, and you would get all these flavors to try. And I can remember like you were dripping then. What I was doing is I was using 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, right? And I had that big plastic container with all the little individual slots in it, and I had every little 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 filled with a different flavor in every one of those little compartments, and I would label them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, crazy stuff when you think about it now, but that was fun. And when you wanted a different flavor, you just unscrew one, you screw on another one, and there's that flavor, and it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was also helpful because if you hit a wall, like we did sometimes at the beginning, meaning that it just doesn't taste good, or you think that somebody changed the flavor, it's generally not the case. You have another flavor to try, and you have something else to vape to get you through, and you don't have to go back and get cigarettes. Today, it's a little bit different. If you're going to commit $25 to a 60 ml bottle, and you don't like it, you have to go buy another $25 bottle or order another $25. And that's a lot of money for you to spend. A few tips and tricks there. What we used to do back in the day is we had a group. We had a friend. I had friends locally, and I had friends that lived in other states as well too. I used to do this with Jason and with Jamie and a few others. I would order liquid, and if I didn't like it, I would package it up and send it to my friend. And then he would send me stuff that he had ordered and he didn't like for me to try. And then we kind of passed it around. If you have within your immediate circle 4 or 5 vapors, you can do that today. Or if you're a smoker and you're really converting, like last episode of Smoker Show, we had the guy that called in that said 5 out of his 6 members at his household vape now, right? I guarantee you they don't all like the same flavor, right? So if somebody buys a bottle and they don't like it, they can pass it on to another family member or a friend within their immediate community and kind of spread it around so people can try new flavors as well too. Don't hoard. Like hoarding doesn't make any sense to me. After a year, it's going to be black. It won't be vapable. And spread the love and pass it around and try some new flavors. But what I did do is I wanted to show you how to navigate and some options when it comes to liquid. Most of these are not our sponsors. Again, it's not the point of being sponsors. It's about what I'm trying to project to you to look for in websites. And if they offer this, you should be thinking a little bit more about spending your money with it.
Dimitri, before you do that, I just want to reiterate why we're doing this, right? And the reason why we're doing this and the reason why we're pointing you to sample packs and small bottles and online shopping is because of what's going on with Corona again. If you're just joining us, right? It's because shops are closing. It's because you're not able to go to your favorite shop. It's because they don't offer curbside. They don't offer delivery. You're stuck. You're in a bind. We don't want you to go buying cigarettes, right? So we're trying to give you some ideas and some tips and some tricks on how to order online and how to buy online.
And help your friends that might want to try vaping during this crisis, but they can't physically go and purchase the products. Just because we have the coronavirus does not mean it shouldn't be the day to day that somebody quit smoking. Right. I don't know if somebody made a comment. I can't see the YouTube chat. So, but anyway, that's why we're doing this episode. All right. Here's one example of what to look for in a website. This is pbdragon.com. This guy's been around for a very long time. I used to know him back from the VaporCon days. But, here, he has the option of ordering an e-liquid sample pack. 15 ml bottles is $27. You get 6 different bottles with 6 different flavors. You can order this. You can really fine tune your nicotine level, 3, 6, 12, 18, and 24, which I love. And this is one of the reasons why I put it on there. You can also adjust your PG-VG ratio from 60% PG to 60% VG. All these options are great for somebody that is starting out. Another one, by the way, when we're talking about online shopping, you're going to see that in a lot of these websites, you will have to be verified for your age. That's just federal law. If a website does not check your age, meaning verifying the person that you are before you make a purchase, they are breaking federal law. It's not your responsibility. It's the responsibility of the website to do that. It's a little bit of troublesome, but once you do it once in a website that you're purchasing from, then they have you in the database. But you're going to have to provide and prove using age check or a Veritat or whatever the website is using that you are of age, which is 21 years old now in the United States to purchase. Some of them.
Can I make a comment about that?
Absolutely.
I do appreciate the websites that allow you to just type in your birthday. I don't appreciate the websites where you go to the date and you click on it and a whole bunch of dates come up and you have to scroll down to find your year that you were born.
Yeah.
I start scrolling down. I'm like, oh fuck, man, I got to scroll really far down. So I hate that.
The reason why I left this like that is the reason why I left this, I'll just put 1930 in there. Anyway, I'm old. But anyway, the reason why, just to kind of show you about the website. But they offer, like, this is FF Vapers. They offer a lot of flavors and they offer a lot of stuff in sample packs as well too, which is really, really great. If you can get a sample pack of what you're going, to order, this is another website that you can do it. You can just click on here, and you can see there are tons and tons of flavors. You can click on and get a sample pack from FF Vapers. Here's one of our sponsors here. 5 Ponds out of California. They have 6 of their original flavors in a sample pack. It's $29.99. The only downfall on this, it's only in 3 milligram strength, which is a little bummer for me, especially if you're a new vapor. But at least you're going to get a taste of the flavors before you commit to their big 60 ml bottles of liquid. So this is more of a trying to get the flavor. But if you're looking for a higher nicotine strength, you're not going to be able to get that with this particular sample pack. Another one here. This is another option. That one vape. Again, these are just websites that I ask people to tell me who offers sample packs or small bottles. This is another website that does it. You can see they're gonna have they have a 12 mil option for $3.50. So if you want to try, you can pick up 4 or 5 flavors based on your preference. You know, I am a menthol vapor. I like menthols, right? So I'm going to go to this website. I can pick out 4 or 5. I can go to their mint and menthol section, and then I can pick up 4 or 5 because not all mints and menthols taste the same. Trust me. I can go to this website and just go to this. My fingers are just not working today. There we go. I can go to the website and go to the mint and menthol section. And look, I don't like peppermint, right? I like cool mint, so I would add this. Peach menthol, that's right up my alley. I would add this, and I can get these small bottle sizes just to try out before I have to commit into a big bottle of liquid, and it's very, very important. And another one here, this is Fluid Vapor. Another guy, Rob, that's been around for a very, very long time, since the early days of VaporCon. You know, he's broken it down into a tobacco sample pack, a menthol sample pack, and then your choice sample pack. $20, you get 5 different liquids. You can try, again, flavors before you commit to what you're going to buy. This is another one, Smoke Signals here. They have, again, a lot of options in nicotine strength, up to 36 milligram, which I think is fantastic. Not a lot of people do that. And then, you know, you have your little 10 mil bottle over here. It's a little bit pricey for a 10 mil bottle, but at least you do have that option of buying something at a discount price. So there are websites out there. You just have to put a little bit more effort and time to navigate and find those websites where you can actually get still today those sample packs. Again, we're talking about when you're buying online in the current situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to do a special shout out here. Do you remember?
Come a little bit closer because you're.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was leaning back.
Yeah.
Do you remember Ricky? Ricky got a hold of. We were talking to him on the last show. I think he might have called in. He was the one who had the new baby.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Ricky just posted something here. Hi, Phil and Demi. This is John, the guy with the new baby. You guys sent me and my wife a care package, and I'm very proud to say that we now identify as non-smokers. I can't thank you guys enough.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
I love it. Ricky, congratulations to you. Stay that way, okay? Please, stay that way.
All right. I wanted to bring up another thing. Oh, there it is. Thanks, Ricky. We appreciate it. I wanted to bring another thing, another option that you have, and look for these websites as well too. What me and Phil believe, and trust me, we do this mistake as well too. So, and we're guilty of it as well too. Then, if there's a lot of people that start vaping to get off nicotine completely, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people that get to vaping to get off vaping completely as well too. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your goal, you can do it with vaping. That's the beauty about vaping. You can't do that with any other product on the market. With vaping, you can reduce your nicotine to 0 if that's what you're looking for, and you can get off vaping completely if you want to as well too. There are websites that do offer you extreme customization into the way that you're going to get nicotine into your liquid. Dash Vapes is one of them. Obviously, you know, they make our products as well too. So they're getting a shout out here, but they're not getting a shout out because they make our product. They're getting a shout out because they have that option. I'm going to bring up here this, you know, whatever this is, this watermelon peach.
#1 bestseller right there.
By the way, I know we're joking around about it, but if you look at the bestsellers, you're number 4.
Huh?
You're number 4 on the bestsellers.
Yeah, but I also don't see any of I don't see a Dimitri.
I'm down
flavor.
here. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't see a Matt Cully flavor before me either.
I don't see it. He's down here.
So in the unsalted line, I am the #1 bestseller.
You are.
Okay, thank you.
I hate to admit it, but when you're right, you're right.
All right, carry on.
I started off very strong, but you came in from behind like a Greek. But anyway, that's not what I wanted to show you. What I wanted to show you was this over here. So if I'm going to go over here and I'm going to buy this liquid, I have the option of typing in exactly the nicotine level that I want because they're made custom to order. So let's say I'm a heavy smoker. I can start off here, type, nope, not 128. That's not good. 18. I want it to be 18 milligram when I start. I hope everybody can see that. But the beauty about this is that you can go down in increments of 1. The ratios, and I don't understand why this industry just kind of adopted this from an early age, but we'll go 18 to 12, which is a significant drop, but it's an easy drop because 12 is still enough nicotine. And then from 12, go down to 6, right? That's a huge jump. And a lot of people find themselves jumping down to 6 or even jumping down to 3, and they're like, oh, that's not working for me. And they vape more, or they have to bump up, or they go back to cigarettes. A lot of people do that as well too. So The beauty about this, and I know that this works because I know people that actually have done this in real life. Not one, multiple people have done this. They started off with 18 and then they went to 17, the next bottle. And then they went to 16. And it's a gradual reducement of nicotine that does not, it does not make you crave. It's the progression is so slow that you can actually work yourself down into the comfortable level of nicotine that you want, or completely zero. And Dash Vapes offers you the chance to do it. I don't know if there's a lot of, because of the laws here in the United States, a little bit more tricky. I know that there are websites here that do it. I don't necessarily, on top of my head now, remember that, which websites there are, but there are. Do a little Google search and find it. But the fact that I can come onto this website and type in exactly the nicotine that I want, you can actually go in here and put, I want 12.3. You can put 12.3 nicotine, whatever you want to do. If you want to do it in half increments to help you even more get off nicotine, that's the beauty of vaping. It will help you to do it.
And something else that would really suck here too is if PMTA takes that away from us.
Yeah.
Right. Takes away the small bottle sizes and takes away the sample packs and takes away flavors and takes away your ability to reduce your nicotine gradually. And because I think that's really important. Like Dimitri said, if you want to get off of vaping, more power to you. We will congratulate you all day if you go from a cigarette to a vape, reduce your nicotine, and then do nothing at all.
Yeah. As long as you remember us every now and again, that's all we ask for, man. It's actually your success story. There's people that do depend on nicotine. There's people that want to get off nicotine. You have the option to do that through vaping. So that kind of gives you an idea on how to navigate these liquids. Try to find smaller sizes at the beginning when you're converting. Then when you find that all-day vape, that one flavor that you're like, oh man, I really, really dig this, then you commit to a bigger bottle as well on that as well too. But be very, very careful. Nicotine is the least benign thing inside of liquid, so you need to make sure that you get enough nicotine as when you're starting off converting from smoking into vaping. And then if you want to work yourself, just do it in a very progressive way where you're not having withdrawals or the desire to light a cigarette simply because you're not getting satisfied with the product that you're having now. One honorable mention here. There are services out there just like this. This is 𝗵𝗲. This is a subscription service where they send you different liquids every month. I know that there's people that vape a different liquid 3 times a day. I'm not one of them. I'm a one liquid guy. If I find what I like, I'll vape it. I'm vaping a couple of flavors, but both of these flavors is what I vape all day. I don't mix my flavors. And there's people that like to change every week or every month. 𝗵𝗲 has been around for a very long time. We know Tony, the owner. We can easily recommend this website. What I like about this is kind of curated for you, so you're able to fill out some information when the 𝗵𝗲. And I know that this sometimes does not necessarily work, and I've heard some complaints about that. But you are able to kind of choose a profile on a roundabout way, and then they'll be able to kind of customize the samples that you get. And you have various options here, and you can see it's not expensive. So you can get like 11 30 ml bottles a month delivered to your house for $45. Right, 6 bottles for $27, and then 3 bottles for $17.99. So you have a lot of options here as far as how much you want to commit financially every week. I guarantee you, even if you buy this 11 bottle box at $45 a month, and you're spending $10 a month on coils, then you have $55 investment in this. If you're smoking in any state, that's 1/4 of the cost that you were spending on cigarettes before. So even in this particular case, meaning a subscription plan, is going to be cheaper to you than what smoking is. That's another important thing about vaping.
I agree. 𝗵𝗲 has been around for a long time. I think they were the first subscription-based e-liquid companies. I know there are a couple more, but
sure.
They've definitely withstood the test of time.
They definitely have. Just some general rules when we're talking about online vaping shopping. I kind of assembled this. This goes for everything that you do online, but even more so with vaping. Research the retailers online to make sure that they're legitimate. You can go read reviews of them on ECF. If they're not talked about, they're generally not going to be good, all right? So you can do a lot of research before you commit. Make sure that the website has some kind of a secure authentication that's standard today. Know your rights and the company's return policy. And you're going to see in most of these websites, they're not going to take returns for liquid. I don't think they even take returns on brick and mortar store. So if you're going to go out there and buy liquid and you don't like it, you're out of luck. That's why I say pass it on to your friends. You're not going to be able to return it. But make sure you understand the return returns and policy from every website. This is especially true with vaping. If your vape device breaks and you don't have a backup, you're screwed. Keep the software and virus protection up to date. Strong passwords on your online accounts. Don't store your credit card. Never do this into your account of a particular website. Don't use public Wi-Fi. That's just the general rule. If you can use a prepaid credit card for extra security, that's great. And if you're ordering anything from overseas, expect to have delays. Very, very important. My biggest tip here is that vape sites take advantage of holidays. I mean, they run sales. They run sales on St. Mozzarella Day. It doesn't make a difference. If there's a holiday coming up, any kind, even the most minor holiday, generally websites will have sales. So you want to wait for those days to order and maybe extra order to take advantage of those sales. Shop around, do some Google foo and search for your best price. 2 very good tips: subscribe to their email alerts. Okay, email alerts are very, very important. I get them all the time from the websites that I've been. But if they're having something special or a closeout, or if they're running something, here's a prime example. I just got this today. This was from the ZFO. I get this every couple of days from them. This is what they restock. This is what they have. And now it's online pickup. Blah blah blah. If they have some kind of a coupon code, they'll post it on here. Wash your hands. Is there a coupon code? So subscribe to the newsletter and get the email from them, even if it goes into a spam folder or for an email that you use that is not your everyday email. And then lastly, our biggest tool for vaping, because we can't afford really any other way of advertising, is social media. So if you go to their Instagram, their Facebook, and their Twitter and kind of follow those pages, they have sometimes what they call Instagram specials or Facebook specials. They only post them on those platforms. A good coupon code will give you 25, 30, 40% off. These are great opportunities for you to save money.
Hey, one thing that you didn't mention when we were talking about liquids, buying liquids online, especially for a new vapor or somebody who's just getting started, know your PG/VG ratio too, right? I think that's really important, because if you have something that's designed like for mouth to lung, if you have like a smaller pod system, the last thing that you're going to want to do is put a 100% VG e-liquid in there, which means the viscosity is going to be thick. It's going to be thick. 100% VG is a thicker liquid. It's not going to work well with a mouth to lung or with a pod. So, just be aware of that too. Get the correct ratio for the device that you're using. If you're using direct lung, sub-ohm, big old liquid ports, then you can use a higher VG. It's going to be able to handle that. If you are using something more mouth to lung, smaller liquid ports, smaller pods, you're going to want to be, I wouldn't go any higher than a 70 VG. There you might even have some problems. 60 VG would be better. 50-50 usually works really, really well in mouth to lung setups.
Can't go wrong with 50-50.
Nope.
YouTube, again, can be utilized. You're going to find a lot of YouTube reviews on e-liquids. Keep in mind, though, taste is subjective. Something that I like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to like, even though it sounds really good. There's some companies out there that do a great job in descripting. Five Ponds is the prime example. Five Ponds can describe a liquid like it's a porn scene. Like in very like you read it and you're like, oh my God, that just sounds delicious, right? And sometimes you vape it and you just don't get that. Or by placebo effect, when you taste it, you're like, oh God, yeah, this is exactly how it's designed. So take YouTube reviews on liquids for that, subjective. Try to find reviewers that are similar in your profile. Like you like strawberry creams, try to find a YouTube reviewer that's what they vaped and they can tell if it's a good one or a bad one. Usually that will help. There's instances like this video I'm going to play here where it doesn't always work out like that when we're talking about video reviews. So check this out.
The 𝗃𝗄𝗏. Here he is, the 𝗃𝗄𝗏. I got that in pretty straight, didn't I? Straighter than some of the box mods I've seen. Anyway, this 𝗃𝗄𝗏, battery life on this is 2 to 3 years unless it gets captured and eaten. You do have to keep it damp, and you do have to feed it small crustaceans for it to work that long. The 𝗃𝗏 in a 𝗃𝗏 low resistance vape. First time vaping it. Here we go. Oh my God. All right. I am literally going to gag and or throw up if I do another vape.
So there you go. See how
I'm
descriptive that
hold
is.
on
So that's how these e-liquid reviews work sometimes. But also, all joking aside, you know, again, it's always subjective. Don't be upset if somebody describes a liquid to you and you try it and it's just your palate is completely different than somebody else. This happens all the time. I can't vape anything that Phil likes. I don't. I mean, the watermelon peach I can vape, but other stuff that he had in the past for his all day vapes, I couldn't vape. And likewise, like when he picks up usually our devices match. We usually have the same gear when we travel, so sometimes he'll just pick up my device simply because he thinks it's his device, and you can see the reaction in his face, like whatever, mentally.
It's true. For as much as Dimitri and I have in common, we don't have anything in common when it comes to e-liquids.
Absolutely. Ronnie Mitchell, just want to say thanks again for helping me and my family to quit smoking. Thanks to you five guys out of my family. We just talked about you earlier, Ronnie. So you'll always be superhero to us. We're not gonna be super blokes to you, but we'll be superheroes for you all you want. So yeah. So in general, what we tried to cover in these two segments is the online purchasing, what to look out for, and some tips and tricks for you to help you navigate. In most cases, I promise you, the least amount of money you're going to spend to get started is going to work out probably better than you go and spending a couple $100 on way advanced gear that's probably not going to satisfy you enough. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I actually agree with that because if you look at the getting started section on tasteyourjuice.com, one of the things that I say there is don't spend a lot of money. Start cheap but good.
Yeah,
that's important, right? Don't start cheap and cheap, right? Spend enough of money to get yourself a good kit, good starter kit, whether it be a T18 or a Zylive tube or one of my products, Dimitri's products, or somebody else's products. Just get yourself something good, something that gets like high rankings, good reviews. Look at all that stuff. You don't need to spend a lot of money. You want to proof of concept this. You want to make sure that you can do it. All right. Make sure that you can get off of the cigarettes before you start dumping money into it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be miserable and you're going to have less money in your pocket.
And look at some of the old stuff on YouTube, even Phil stuff. Here's another guy. I don't know if you remember this guy. He was around for a very, very long time, Phil. Great videos, really good information. This video was shot back in 2012. I think his name was 𝗵𝗄𝗍𝗄, if I'm not mistaken. But this video was shot back in 2012. But he talks about what to expect, when you stop smoking and start vaping. Even these old videos are it's good plethora information for you guys to be able to at least what to expect when you quit smoking and some of the stuff that you're going to run into. Don't be afraid to look. It's not outdated. You don't have to have the latest and the greatest, especially from some of these flashy guys that go out there and just try to promote product. It's all about quitting smoking. So, which puts us in the last category of our initial list, and that would be advocacy. And whether you want it or not, if you quit smoking, you're going to fall into this category at one point in your life. And especially more so now, because imagine what would happen if you watch this show and tomorrow you make your first purchase, get it be online or be in brick and mortar store, and you quit smoking. And 2 days later, your governor signs a flavor ban, and you can't have that product that you just 2 days ago were like, holy shit, I just picked up this product and I quit smoking. Within 24 hours, I feel better. I can smell better. I breathe better. And then your governor takes it away, or any other piece of legislation that's going to come. So you're going to have to cross this at some point. There's one spot that I want you to, if you're going to take anything from the show, if you're new, is to go to CASA.org. This is a consumer group, purely consumer group, that they advocate for smoke-free alternatives. What's really good about this is that you can sign up, you give them your email, where you live, and then if there's state-specific calls to action, they will come directly to your email. So if there's something happening in Georgia, it'll come to me. If it's something happening in Florida or New York, in Phil's case, it will go to Phil's email. They'll keep you up to date. It also has a lot of information, testimonials, just like we saw in Phil's. It has a lot of scientific studies on here as well, too. But this is the organization that consumers, as soon as you quit smoking and begin vaping, you should get on here and sign up. And it's free. It doesn't cost anything to sign up. Another honorable mention, Vaping 360. This is a really good site. Again, this is a commercial website, but they do a great job for advocating and writing some really, really good articles. Keep in mind, just like what we talked about earlier with the e-cigarette direct, this is a pay-to-play kind of thing, meaning that there's advertisers that run a lot of spots, and you're going to see them. Even if you click on a story, you're going to see a lot of the stuff that just kind of pops up in between here, trying to get you to buy stuff as well too. You're going to see there right there in the middle. As long as you understand that, the content that's on Vaping 360 is really, really good as well too. So having said that, I think I covered everything that I had in my notes. And the phone lines are open, 215-383-5752. If you have any questions, you can call. I know there's a question that I need you to answer in just a second. Go ahead.
Okay, you did a great job.
Thank you,
really
buddy.
did. What's up with your new Facebook profile picture? I don't like it.
You don't like it? My wife took that picture of me in...
You look angry.
Well, I am angry.
All right, well,
That's why. When I'm in a better mood, I'll put a smiley picture of me.
all right. Okay.
I think it's like it's dark and mysterious.
Well, yeah, I know, but
It's kind of like Ray Donovan Greek style, you know.
But right now, with the state of the country and affairs, you just need to put a happier picture.
I should be because of the state of affairs. Let me get this right. I have to be happier. Is that what you said?
Yeah, you just want to project a happier image.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll try. Let me see if I can find a happier picture for you.
Thank you.
You want me to change it now or no?
No. You can change it after the show. I think that's
Oh,
fine.
look at that. Did you see this? This is my little studio cam. This is an old C270. It's Logitech C270 cam. But I thought it was pretty cool. Kind of gives you like a little studio look, and all the monitors that I have in the front, and the sponsors of the show. What was I going to say? The phone lines are open, 215-383-5752. I've got a question for you to answer. This is from, I got it here somewhere. 𝗀𝗏. Is that Mooch? I don't know. How and why do some temperature control modes have ohm resistance adjustments?
You know what? It's funny. I responded to him. You know what? That is a good question, and it is something that I completely disagree with. The resistance is the resistance is the resistance. That's like you driving your car at 55 miles per hour. It says that on the speedometer, but you could kind of adjust the speedometer up or down depending on how you feel. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? I think the reason why they do that is so that it's just another way to fine tune a technology that doesn't necessarily work all that well all the time, right? But I totally disagree with having the ability to do that. It should not be part of mods. You should not be messing around with the resistance. That doesn't make any sense. The resistance is the resistance. That's not something that you should be able to change.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this my profile picture.
Let me see. Okay.
That's what I'm doing. I'll make that my profile picture.
The more I look at that photo, the more I think I might have to pleasure myself to it.
It's just a great Photoshop. Like the look on your face is exactly how you were looking at the French doctor when he told you like this. And my face has a little bit of a disappointment in it. After looking at your penis.
Yeah, it was good. Like I said, it was very cold. It was very cold in that room. It was very cold. I was in a lot of pain. I had a lot of pain medications. I was on fucking morphine at that point. I had morphine. That doesn't do wonders for your.
I have another announcement. I've been doing something else too, other this week. Don't think I'm not working. I'm working constantly. So one thing that I'm doing is I am going to start uploading the live with Phil and Demi on podcast as well too. So the first episode is up on Spreaker. You can search Smoke Free Radio. This is where I'm uploading them on because when I was running Smoke Free Radio, I had it networked in with all the podcasters as well too. So I'm uploading it on that same platform, right? But just because you see it on Spreaker doesn't mean you can get it on Podcast Junkie. You can get it on Podcast Addict. You can get it on Google Podcasts. You can get it on iTunes. You can get it on SoundCloud. It's across all those platforms. So whatever your favorite platform is, if you're using Google Home, you can say, hey, Google, play podcast Smoke Free Radio, and it'll bring it up. So all the episodes from Live with Phil and Demi and the Smoker Show will be uploaded as an audio podcast as well, too, A lot of people have been asking for that, so I had that all set up.
Let me respond to a couple here. 𝗃𝗽𝗏, I totally agree with you. You get a nice, cool room temperature atomizer, set it on your mod, get a good, clean resistance reading, and then adjust your TCR. Bill, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I understand how you're using it that way, and I understand why.
Can you read it out as well, too, so the people that are listening on the replay can?
So 𝗃𝗽𝗏 or base says that I go by the resistance that the mod reads. I never adjust it, only adjust the TCR. I agree with that. Get yourself a nice room temperature. Make sure you don't have a hot atomizer. Screw it on and go ahead and do your resistance read, and then adjust your TCR if you need to. And then what Bill is saying, no, ohms adjust is so that you can throw a hot TC coil on another TC
90 seconds.
Let me bring this phone call on.
You know the cold resistance. I use it all the time. Okay, so like I understand what you're doing there, but I can't agree with it. I can't agree with you being able to adjust a resistance value. That, to me, it doesn't make any sense. I would rather see you just cool that resistor down, cool that resistance down, cool that tank down, and use it in a room temperature
60
way.
seconds.
Stand by, caller. We're going to bring you in. Don't worry about the British lady. Go ahead.
Use it at room temperature, and then seat your atomizer onto the device. I would much rather see you do that. Just take some time to cool it off than play with a resistance setting. Again, it's just something that I can't agree with.
That's exactly what indoor smokers said as well, too.
Damn!
Absolutely. 330, you're on the air with Phil and Dimmy. Oops.
Hi, are you talking to me?
Yes, we're talking to you. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi.
Hi.
I've watched you guys for quite a long time.
Aw.
I started vaping in 2008.
Wow.
And even back then with the
10 seconds.
wimpy little things we had,
Yeah.
it was enough to make me not want to smoke a cigarette again.
What's your name?
So I hung in there with staying with what I had for a while, and then things just started picking up, and it was crazy. All the vape stuff coming out, every day. They wanted you to buy something else, and it seems like this whole industry is run by young males, and they were all about power and batteries and vapor clouds, and then the sub-ohm things came in, and that was all that they wanted you to buy.
Yeah.
And I tried it, and I really didn't care for it that much. Kind of early, I found a really nice RDA. It was from Russia, and I found it by going on ECF and just asking, do you guys know if anybody makes an RDA that just screws on the base instead of that cap that you have to fight with the O-rings and being too tight or too loose, and just screws on, and also has deep enough wells to put a decent amount of liquid in, and it's just one coil that's easy or kind of simple, basic, and somebody came back and said, yes, you want exactly this one, and it was called the Achilles, and it was by Titanium Mods. And I found one, but it was a clone. That was the only thing I could find. But I loved that thing. I learned how to build an RDA on that one, and it worked really well. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, okay, all this new stuff keeps coming out, and I better try something different because it might be better. And once in a while, I would try something different. But that thing was the best thing. Well, I lost it.
Oh, man.
And I've never been happy with any of the other RDAs I've ever found.
Man.
And I keep thinking, as time goes on, they're going to get over with trying to do all these ridiculous fancy builds and big sub-ohm power, and maybe they'll realize that there's a lot of people that still just want a basic mouth-to-lung device. Yeah. And I've had some tanks too, but I still like the RDA flavor that kind of wins for me. And
absolutely.
I don't really need something that I have to just throw in a pocket all the time, and you know, I can be careful enough with it as long as it isn't that you know, prone to leak. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I understand.
And I'd pay the price for having a little bit of babying because it might leak because of the flavor.
Sure.
And so I would love to find another thing like that. I don't think I should have to go to Russia.
You're right.
to find something.
Well, give it.
If anybody knows of anything like that, I think, there's a picture of it right there.
Yeah.
That thing is great, and I wish they would just make that one again, except it had those teeny little screws, and you had to, like, capture the little wires underneath. And that's, like, the thing with these things. It's like, why can't they figure out, and they are making some progress with that, but why can't they figure out a way to capture those wires that's, like, not so difficult?
Well,
and I just think by this many years, you know, by this time and so many years going by, somebody should be able to do that.
Yes.
And I'm not a machinist. I don't know how to do these things.
Yes.
So if you guys are going to work on another one,
yes. Well,
try my idea.
All right. So slow down. Slow down.
You know,
Slow down.
Slow down. Hard to get on and off sometimes. I'm thinking this has got to be damaging that pin that screws into the battery. And it's like, why are they making this? Like, why can't they improve these things a little bit?
Get some air and some nicotine in you. Hold on.
Running across the right things. Then you go searching for things.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Wading through this, sea of so many things that I don't know.
All right. Everything is working on my
I'm
end.
sorry.
Can you hear me? You can hear me, right? You can hear me, right? Phil?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Phil, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm sorry. My name is Janet.
Thank you. Okay, there you go. First of all, I wanted to ask your name, Janet. Okay, hold on. All right, take a breath, have a vape, all right, get some nicotine in you because you said a lot. I have 3 questions for you.
Okay.
And a comment. Okay. Number one, me and Phil are working on an RDA that's based on the Aries. Unfortunately, because of Corona, it's been delayed now. But it's very, very simple post, just like the Aries, and it's going to be an RDA from mouth to lung, obviously. It's not. It'll be like $30. It's just not. We just can't put it out yet. Number one. Number two. Since you started to vape in 2008, did you actually had to like burn coal to create steam back then? Yeah, that was a joke. Anyway, you missed it. Coal, get it? Coal, because she's just 2008.
Janet, I apologize for
So number 3, I do have another dripper that's going to match exactly what you want. It's not that expensive. The bad thing is that it's in Greece. Okay, this is from 𝗀𝗄. It's very, very similar to the 𝗃𝗽𝗲𝗄𝗏, the phenotype. This little dripper here, I don't know if you can see it it comes in 16 millimeter, it comes in 22 millimeter. You have various options for it. This is a great mouth to lung, a little bit on the high end, obviously because of the price, but it's something that can replace. If you go to 𝗀𝗄𝗏.gr, and you're going to see all the other options that you have there for the drippers. All these drippers are mouth to lung, and they've done a very, very good job. So what I'm trying to say is...
Well, I'll look at that. Well, Dimitri, you have connections. Why can't you get 𝗀𝗄𝗏 to just sell it over here?
Well, every time that I've tried to help a Greek modder, it has always backfired in my face, to be honest with you. I've been fucked so many times by Greek modders, and obviously they're Greek, so I expect that. But listen, I would love for these products to come here. Unfortunately, mouth to lung is not popular in the United States. You know this, Janet. I don't have to tell you that. If you go to most vape stores, you're not going to find mouth to lung products. Well, maybe a little bit now because of the pods.
I don't understand this because I think from what I see online, there is a lot of people that want that instead.
Absolutely. But they don't go to vape shops because they don't have the vape shops don't offer those products. But we've been saying that for 3 years, Janet, and nobody listens to us, right? We're the idiots. We're the
I really
stupid
want to
guys.
support the vape shops, but when I go in there, it's like they don't know anything. They don't know anything about building.
Yeah.
They just want to sell you stuff. And I bought things from them, and I think, okay, I'll spend some money here just to help support them. But it's like they don't care. They just, I bought some tanks that had the little screw-in coils, and and it's like the next month something new comes along,
Yeah.
and they have different coils, and it's like,
Absolutely,
I have so much
You're right.
junk. I did throw some of it away, but there's just so much vape junk, and I think I've been pretty careful over the years. And I see these guys talking about all their stuff online. They can't wait to have the next thing. And I'm like, man, don't you guys have anything else to spend your money?
No, it's just chasing the dragon is what they're doing. But I agree with you. I think a lot of vape shops don't understand how many customers they're missing by not catering the crowd. But keep in mind, Janet, in its heyday, I mean, the peak of vaping in 2017, vape shops were selling 60 ml bottles for $27. They don't want to sell you a mouth-to-lung setup at 24 milligram that's going to last you for a month. So I get it from that perspective. That was the hype that was going on at the time.
I understand.
But now they're paying for it now. I mean, it's obvious that they're paying for it now. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'll say this, Janet.
Well, I'll look.
Hold on. Can you hear Phil? I just want to confirm that you can hear Phil. Can you hear Phil?
Can you hear me okay, Janet?
Not right now.
How about now?
I'm watching you online. I turned the sound off so it wouldn't interfere with me talking to you.
Yeah.
I see him rolling around in his chair.
Okay.
So you can't hear me? You can't hear me talking to you right now?
Now I hear Phil.
There we go. So I'm looking at the design of the Achilles, and I will say this, that the design it's a very, very old design, and it's probably one of the trickiest ways you can capture wire, because that screw is going to push the wire out.
Yeah.
You got to kind of
the wire thing. I want something that has a better way to capture the wire, but the rest of it I love. Like I don't really care. I don't have to adjust the airflow on that. I just took the screw out and it's fine, you know. And I just would like to find that original one again, because the wire thing wasn't that difficult because you just build little tiny coils.
Yeah.
So, but still, it should be easier by now after all these years.
Well, it is. You just have to kind of hunt around and search around a little bit. Like Dimitri said, we are working on a kind of a version of the Aries that's going to be a dripper. I just reviewed the 𝗃𝗃 RDA. This one's a little bit pricier, but it is a mouth-to-lung rebuildable dripping atomizer. But I'm also familiar with a couple others here too. I'm just going to switch my camera over. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but this is the 𝗃𝗽𝗲 𝗵𝗡 MTL RDA. Okay, very inexpensive.
I have that. I have that one. That one's not too bad.
Okay, there you go.
It just doesn't compare to the Achilles, though, for the way the flavor
you know what
is
Janet
and-
reminds me of? Janet reminds me of back in the day when I used to drip in an HH357. And everybody was like, oh, what are you doing? You need a 𝗀𝗀𝗪𝗘 and a CARDO tank and all that. And I was like, people, you don't understand. The flavor that I get out of the low resistance at the time, 1.5 ohm resistance from Cisco, that HH357 for me gave amazing flavor. And once you experience that once, it's very, very hard for you to go back and vape in something else. I totally agree with. I totally understand where you're coming from.
And you know what?
And the 𝗵𝗡, that's not a bad one. You can put liquid in it, and it doesn't spill out very easy, and it holds a decent amount. It's like if you can put a milliliter of liquid or 2 milliliters, some of them will hold. I don't care about having to have a tank.
Yeah.
That's everything's enclosed, and I can get 5 mils of juice in there. It's like when you don't sub them, you don't need that much. And I can go for a couple hours or more with just probably a milliliter of juice. So, it's not that important to me. And I thought, okay, I know there's a lot of people into high-end stuff, and if it's something exactly what I'd like, I would be willing to buy one. But I'm thinking by this time it should be a little easier to find one.
Yeah, well, if the Coronas let up, maybe I'll get a chance to go back to Greece. I need to go anyway and see what they have options. There's some really good MTL stuff in Europe in general, because the MTL is a whole lot more predominant there than it is in the United States, unfortunately. But they do have a lot of more options there, and it's very hard for distributors to bring products here if they're not going to sell. right? So, you're not going to see
Yeah.
GG products anymore in the United States. You're not going to see 𝗃𝗲𝗥 products. You're not going to see all these great modders from not just Greece, but all over Europe. You're not going to see they're very, very difficult. Vape and Art still is there, that website that does bring some of this high-end stuff, but it's very, very difficult to move that stuff, especially if you're spending 85 bucks on a dripper. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah,
And it's
and
mouth
then
alone.
a lot of them, they want you to join some Facebook group to get in this kind of
I hate
waiting
that.
list or
I hate that,
elite kind of group, and all their language is like I don't understand.
I had
I
had to join a Facebook group to get on the list to collect Phil's pee. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, I was
Well, that might
I
be
had
worth
3
it.
people vouch for me to go. Anyway, Janet, you're a sweetheart. Congratulations for being smoke free. That's you're one of the oldest vapors that I mean, not by age, but you've been vaping one of the longest.
I am one of the oldest vapors.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is cool. And you haven't died yet, so that's good. That means it's working long term.
That's right. And you know what? I know for a fact, I'm pretty sure that the PG has kept me from getting colds and flu.
That's awesome.
I've hardly ever been sick.
Awesome.
With
That's what
a
Phil
cold
says too.
or flu since I started vaping.
Yeah.
Compared to before, it wasn't that big of a deal for me before, but I think about it now. It's like I have not had the flu for years or colds or anything.
Yeah.
And I think it might be that PG killing those germs.
Could be. It could be. It could be. I hope one day that we have the scientific studies to back that up. Absolutely.
Yeah, they don't like to do that though.
No.
Even when they do have some proof, they don't want to say it's not a site. They don't want to say, it's been any kind of study or anything. They don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of things against us, I think.
There's a lot of things against us. Wouldn't that be a real kick in the ass though if they were to do some kind of a study and they were to prove that vaping actually helped with coronavirus or it helped you potentially not get it? I'm not saying that.
I'm thinking, I'm just going to keep vaping and maybe that'll protect me.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah. Hey, as long as you feel good, that's all that matters.
At home.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you feel good and you're healthy, that's all that really matters. Just avoid it. That's what we're trying to. This is what we're trying to relate to smokers as well too. When you hear this bad stories, do a little bit of research. When you see somebody that smoked for 30 years and has been vaping for 2 months and he gets sick, you can't blame vaping. You have to take in consideration that he was smoking for 30 years right before he switched to vaping. It's something that we talk about all the time. And people just got to be a little bit, less sheep and do a little bit more research by themselves. And you'll find the truth. The truth is there if you want to find it. I think for anything, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just don't understand the resistance to it, though.
It's money.
I guess I do kind of because if you just do what they say, just follow the money and you'll probably find the answer. But there just seems so much corruption that goes on with all of that.
There is.
Absolutely. I don't know.
When
I don't believe anything more in the media, like back in the summer last year, was it, when these kids were in the hospital with these severe lung injuries from vaping, and they made it be a big deal in the news. And it's like, man, whatever happened to responsible reporting? It's like none of that was even true. But they never really backed down that much. They kind of did a little bit and admitted, well, it was because of contaminated cartridges, but it's not like they made an apology or anything to just regular vaping, that industry. They still want to make them be the evil people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cigarettes are fine.
You're a bundle of joy, Janet. Thank you so much for calling. We really appreciate
you guys
it.
are
And you're
too.
just so
Thank
sweet
you for everything you're doing.
and just full of energy. And I hope you find your unicorn RDA.
Oh, me too.
All right.
Well, maybe you guys will build it for me.
Maybe. Hopefully.
I'll check out those ones that you told me about.
You got it.
But the screw-on ones, that one is that solves all the problems with that darn cap.
I understand.
Pulling it too hard.
Put that in our notes,
too
Phil.
loose.
Put that in our notes right now, and we're gonna call it the Janet screw system.
Yeah, go buy an Achilles. They make one now. It's like a version 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, why do I have to go to Russia to buy something? And I'm not even sure I will like this one. And it doesn't look like they really improved the screws to screw down the wires. So
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I'm still hoping we'll find
Thank you, Janet.
the one I want.
We appreciate you.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful evening. Keep on vaping.
Okay, I will.
Well, I
Take
tell you
care.
what, if she was smoking still to this day, there's no way that she would have had the energy to get through that call.
Absolutely not.
Huh?
She would not have been able to get that much air in her lungs. But it's a great call because
really
it actually reinforces what we were saying before, that newer is not necessarily better.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, here's somebody that is in love with an atomizer that came out years ago, and she can't find something that recreates the experience. And if you look at the design of the atomizer, oh my God, it is so simple.
Yeah.
I mean, it is so simple. You just got this little, you got this little air hole right here. You got a couple of screws that you hang your coil across. You got your wicks that are going to go down into your juice well. And it's a very simple.
I have a Tengu RTA right behind me here too, from circa 2011, 2012. That's exactly the same. But it's an RTA. It's kind of like a K-Fun style.
Right. But I mean, just really, really simple design.
Yeah.
But I understand what she's talking about with the wire capture, because if you look at that, that's ugly wire capture.
Yeah.
It's something else that we were kind of talking about, and I actually went to Dr. Farsalinos and I asked him this. I don't know if I mentioned it. Maybe I think I mentioned it on the last Tuesday show, the live that we did. I wanted to know if there was any data available, catch rate and death rate, right, of Corona, categorized by non-smoker, non-vapor, okay, smoker, just smoker, vapor, just vapor, not dual use.
Yeah.
Right. And he told me that they're not capturing that data.
Nope.
But they are capturing non-smoker,
smoker. Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if they are cataloging vapors as smokers. And if they do that, and you look at numbers and smoking is worse, right, when it comes to Corona, if they group that's going to make vaping look bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? And
Absolutely.
I would not be surprised if they do that.
Surprisingly enough, we analyzed the Chinese data, what Dr. F did, and I was talking about him privately. Under 20% of the people with coronavirus in China were smokers, which is I find that statistic amazing, because we know everybody smokes in China. I would have guessed, if they're trying to connect somehow vaping and nicotine and all that with this virus, this just disperses that myth. If it's under 20% of the people in China that got it were smokers on a huge per capita population of smokers, then there's absolutely not going to be any connection with it. In fact, it would give me the opposite, that if you smoke, you have less chances of catching the corona than anything else. So, but yeah, you're right. We haven't gotten to the stage, and we're years off from the stage of trying to categorize everything in its own category. Unfortunately, that's the way it's going to be.
Boy, did Mowgli nail it. They will present info however it fits their agenda. Boy, is that right.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly how it's going to be. All right, we said it all. We've gone 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I think it's time to wrap it up. I don't want to make this episode to drag out too much, because I think that it had really good information, and I hope you guys share it and like it, and it helps us get on the YouTube, preview page, and hopefully a smoker will catch it by his eye and maybe click on it, and who knows, we might change him into a vapor, and that's the goal of what we do here every 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
We will be back. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's it. David Blackman tried to call in, but he couldn't get through. Sorry, David.
They're closed now. I'm sorry. We only have a 2-hour limit on the phone call, David, but maybe you can call in either next Tuesday when we do the live, or the next Smoker Show. We certainly appreciate it, and we'd like to talk to you. You're a great guy. But the blog talk only gives me 2 hours. If you're on hold before the 2 hours, I can bring you in, but if you call past those 2 hours, it shuts down that option for you to be able to come on. All right, final thoughts from you, Mr. Phil 𝗬𝗟.
No, I think this was a good show. I think it was a valuable show. I understand that times are very, very difficult out there right now. I do ask that you guys all stay safe and healthy, and do what you can to limit your exposure as much as possible. Things. If you heard the president, things are going to get ugly here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, maybe worse than what we were expecting and what we're seeing right now. So just stay strong and just know that we're going to get through this. There's going to be a lot of heartache in the process, but we will get through this. Okay. So if you guys want to talk or chat or shoot an email or ask a question, do it. We're here to answer and hang with you guys. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well said. Nothing else from me. Just a reminder, Roku, I'm working on it. It'll be very cool. You can just pull us up on your Roku box and watch videos and watch our live stream. The address, if you want to add the test stream right now, is my.roku.com/ad/vape now. There's only one video, one episode up there now. It's just as I'm testing it out. And of course, all the episodes will be now on audio podcast. Smoke Free Radio is where you're going to find the database from that. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. We certainly appreciate it. And we will see you again this Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, for the temporarily named Live with Phil and Dimmy. Hopefully, we'll pick out a name this Tuesday night when we do the episode. We'll have enough submissions in there to be able to pick something pretty cool out of that. And we'll see you again then.